Okay. Let me send these tweets out real quick. Okay. And it going. We're all live and
Okay, cool.
so I mean, what is there to even say at this point? So can we just starting with James, go through and introduce yourselves?
I'm James. I'm the defense analyst, American defense analyst, I should say. Yeah, I think that's a good summation.
Mm-hmm. And we'll do this again when like more people join. But go. What about Alan?
Yeah, I'm Alan. I don't know how to. I don't know, like, should I say what I studied? I've studied economics and IT. I've studied economics in Damascus University, and economics and I've studied IT in Germany. And I'm a political refugee in Germany, Kurdish, originally from Rojava, Amuda, the capital of Rojava, and that's it.
All right, and then Comrade. We'll get back to him.
Wait, oh my bad. Did I press mute by accident?
Yeah, probably.
Muted.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, I'm Comrade on Twitter. I'm like an anarchist guy on Twitter, and I post geopolitic nerd stuff. But I fought with the British Army in 2018 in Rojava with the YPG against ISIS, mostly in Deir ez-Zor.
And then
Thank you for your service.
My pleasure, bro. I loved it.
I am just a journalist who spent some time being a nerd about Syria, and I specialize in Islamic insurgency.
Don't tell yourself short. He was.
Nope, no. Don't tell anyone.
Okay.
Don't tell anyone my secrets.
Okay.
I mean, I've worked for everyone.
He used to work for Vice.
I mean, I've
Before
done
they went downhill.
with everyone. Like everyone is.
So
anyone who was going there.
We're colleagues,
Like,
basically.
People call
I've
me
also
for
worked with
advisor
Vice.
shit still. Like, I haven't been there in so long. What am I like? I don't know the situation on the ground. Why are you calling me as an advisor?
Man, it's a good experience, you know. Worked with Vice,
Just
the
like,
fallen empire.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah,
so, like,
I remember.
a lot of these companies, what they do is like they go through editors so fast that they're like always open for editors. And like you can edit like one thing for them and then like have a contact inside stuff. So that way, like when you go and operate inside a country, you can link up with any of those like reporters inside all those networks. It's like a really easy way to work within the industry.
John, have you ever, you know about Jake Hanrahan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you could get a interview with him or something, or go on his podcast.
No, we have interviewed him. No, but like I was never like a contract employee for like any of these companies.
Oh, okay.
Like so, like a lot of like to apply to the company, they'll give you videos to edit.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
But fucking hell, bro.
I've worked with them, not for them.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. It's like a contractor, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
But
like editing stuff, and then sometimes like doing stuff. You know, I don't think I did any camera stuff for them, but a lot of stuff that I would do was just like selling footage to people.
Oh, okay. Oh,
was you? What I was doing.
Was you working with them when you was at? Because you was at Euromaidan, right?
Yeah. I
Was
was
you working with them then?
I was an intern for ABC.
Oh, nice.
Like,
But fucking
I literally got there that week,
And that was the golden
And,
age of
like-
journalism.
and then like went home. So like, and then the rest of it was like office shit, and I wanted to
Oh,
die.
But shit, man. But I can't believe when we streamed last week, like the map was just, it's just
I
fucking
know, that's what I was
crazy.
gonna say. Who's the new blue faction that's appeared?
God, man. I can't believe. Actually, well, I can believe it, but it's so fucking stupid on Israel's part to do all this shit that they're doing right now. Like, holy shit, bro. It's
God
actually
damn.
fucking brain dead.
Yeah. It's very
Like,
disappointing.
Yeah. But I
Like-
thought that HTS was on Israel's side.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, the secret. We all know Giuliani, right? So, come on.
Giuliani.
I mean, he is fucking. He is Zelensky's twin, after all. You know.
I mean, isn't he from Golan Heights?
Yeah, his family were expelled from there by Israel.
Hmm.
But honestly, that's probably why
So you're
Israel's
telling me
doing
that
this.
He is Israeli.
Yeah, true. That's probably why Israel's doing this. They're probably terrified that like Jelani's going to be the president and he's going to be like hold a grudge against Israel for the Golan. But like, in my opinion, he's probably just going to be more focused on like re-establishing the country before he ever does anything against Israel. Like he's got a lot of shit on his plate right now.
No way he's becomes the president. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, they do have the Salvation Government. Like they have used the Shura Council. I don't know how
You
much.
know what's like
authority
very
it has
amazing?
within it.
It's the Julani forces. You know, it's like they're like only 25,000 max.
Yep.
Mhm.
And you think about it, and like, how did 25,000 max like defeat 150,000 like Syrian army?
So
Well,
there's the
Syrian
25
army's dog shit.
there's the 15,000
basically
core
it.
Syrian, the 15,000 core Syrian fighters in HTS. The about 5 to 10,000 foreign fighters who've been in Idlib for like a decade doing the work, fighting alongside HTS and Al Nusra and
Yeah, you
actually
know, like,
the
it's not
FSA before that.
years to go home.
Yeah,
Okay.
because China like put them on a plane and dumped them in Syria because China's a bag of dicks. And then there's
I mean,
the
this is
15,000 new
This
guys.
is what happens anytime. The jihad in Afghanistan. They emptied their prisons, threw them in Afghanistan.
Your
Isn't
voice
that
is
literally what Putin did? Isn't that literally what Putin did to all the Chechens and sent them to Syria as well?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he's also Afghanistan for him too.
Yeah. That's actually
But
that's wow. They're very powerful. Actually, it's very impressive to be honest.
I mean, they've been, almost 20 years. Some of these guys have been fighting, haven't stopped.
I mean, some of the Albanian group that's with HTS, some of those guys fought in fucking Bosnia.
Mm-hmm.
What?
yeah, they are the hardcore jihadi vets. These are guys that even I can respect. Well, not even I should say. I can respect them because they've almost always showed up for the right causes.
I mean, they're dedicated, bro. I can't knock them for their grind. Like they've been at it.
Wow. It's like they've been
But-
fighting for almost as we're alive or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
basically, longer than I've been alive.
the emir of Ajnan al-Khalkhas, he actually left Syria after fighting for like most of the war. Now he's in Ukraine, still fighting with the other Chechens in Ukraine.
Mhm.
They are just hard. This is why I can never like whenever people say, "Oh, jihad is always bad." Like, no, not always. Sometimes they do good things. Sometimes they do bad things. They're like people. They're just people.
Also,
They just like to fight.
yeah, a lot of the Caucasus guys are already talking about going back to Russia and killing Kadyrov. By the way,
That's what I was going to ask next.
Let's hope they do.
I mean, that was
so
like part
We
of
were
the
talking
reason
about
they
how to
fought
get
in
rid of the
Syria.
foreign fighters, right?
Yeah. That's going to be Jelani's. That's going to be one of Jelani's biggest problems, in my opinion, because like the foreign fighter units are not down with Jelani's moderation shit. Like they're still pretty radical.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Jelani's probably just going to say to him, like, yeah, bro, continue the jihad, go back to your home countries and fight the war, bro, you know, just so you can get rid of them.
Yeah.
I could see him doing that.
You know what's disappointing is now you know that Bashar al-Assad will never get prosecuted.
Yeah,
He's
it's
like
in Russia.
probably.
He might fall out a
Honestly,
window.
bro,
Oh,
I was
I
just about
would-
to say he might fall out
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
window.
honestly, bro, I would not be surprised if the Ukrainian intelligence agency, the HUR, fucking goes in and kills him, bro. Because he's in
I
Russia.
think he should
And like,
be. Honestly, I think it. I really think it would be more based to go in there and like hog tie him and drag him out of there and bring him back to stand trial in Syria for his own people.
that would be pretty cool. But
Like as much as a sham trial it was, like I think there was a lot of so trying Saddam was like a good idea to have his own people hold him, like decide and hold him accountable for the crimes that he did.
oh yeah,
John,
100%,
your
bro. Have you
voice.
seen all the?
It's
Sorry,
cutting.
go on.
No, John's voice is cutting.
Oh wait, is that?
Is it just for me or like it's?
It,
Oh, yeah,
I
can hear
mean,
it,
it might
right?
just be for you, but
Yeah, it's okay for me. It's probably just your connection or something. But
Sometimes it's cutting it out.
But fucking, bro, have you seen all the videos from Sednaya prison? It's actually
yeah,
insane.
I mean, you can get into that a little.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
actually
a lot
tough.
to talk about there. I figured. Also, if I'm cutting out, it might be because of feedback from someone else's voice. That happens because the stream doesn't know how to handle it. But anyway, I do really want to get more into like Israel being on this map, and then also, you know, what's going on up here. I think that's a
Ghibli.
really
Oh,
interesting area.
This is Ghibli. I can give you the analysis.
You know, these little ports. Why doesn't Assad go to this little island?
This is Jazirat Arwat. It's written Jazirat Arwat. It's like Arwat's island. There's a military base, I think, there.
There you go. It would be like Napoleon.
Yeah.
I think Lebanon also has one of those like little islands off the coast.
We should just put Assad there, just Assad, and then nuke the island just for good measure.
Honestly, bro, fucking,
Ghibli?
they should tie Assad to a missile and send him to Tel Aviv. That would be hilarious.
That area, Ghibli is it's like Alawite. Mostly Alawite people live there. Like the ethnic minority that's the Assad is like Alawite also. That ethnic minority is like a minority within the minority of Shiite. So they are like basically every people from Ghibli fight for the system because they're like they understand that there's an ethnic struggle in Syria. So they know their destiny, like security, depends on the system, kind of thing. Like they also get like lots of privileges and power and weaponry and money to be the spoiled aristocracy of Syria.
I was laughing here because on Live Map it says Russian military bases in Syria are on high alert. Russian Foreign Ministry reported there is currently no serious threat to the security of Russian military bases. Which leads to two conclusions, in my opinion. One, it's the foreign minister and they're just fucking talking out their ass and lying. Or two, a deal has been made and Russia is going to be completely fine.
Yeah, I think it's number two. Before HTS started its offensive, for those of us who don't know, Sergei Shoigu, he was the Minister of Defense. I think Putin gave him a cushier job, maybe the National Security Minister. Shoigu was in Kabul meeting with the Taliban, who have been backing Giuliani also, right? So we don't know what was said, but given that, like the day before the offensive started, Russian forces started pulling away from SAA lines. Like this is something that they've also done in the past, right? When they cut a deal with Turkey, Russian forces pulled back from SAA lines, and the Turks beat the shit out of the SAA. It looks like Russia cut another deal here, right? Probably they didn't expect HTS or HTS to get too far because, well, HTS is rather small and the SAA was rather big. But, like, I mean, they cut a deal, right? And it's not like HTS has a lot of foreign friends that it can rely on.
Yeah, I'd agree. But I follow a lot of the Russian military bloggers who are like very clicked in with the Russian military and Wagner. And they're saying that a bunch of Russian soldiers, like, you know, the base that they had in Palmyra?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying that a bunch of Russian soldiers are basically just stranded there and they don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, they'll probably...
Just
John?
real quick, 2 questions. What happened to Assad? Did he get caught?
Oh, no, he's in Moscow.
Reported that Assad is in Russia and has been granted
Moscow.
asylum there. And then, but didn't the Russians already bomb parts of Idlib? Why would the opposition allow them to stay now all of a sudden?
Bombing random civilian targets is just the Russian norm at this point, right? Everybody knows that the Russian military is full of shit, kind of. Like, they do war crimes left and right. It comes with the territory. But the alternatives are relying overly much on Turkey and just being sort of... They're coming into open arms with the U.S., right? Which, I mean, most of Syria would probably be A-okay with, but, like, I don't know, HTS is still... They're still jihadis. They're not, like, AQ anymore, but they're, like... We're still one of the big no-no countries for them.
Yeah. What's interesting is, like, when they're... let me know if my mic is cutting out for anyone else still. But what's interesting is, like, when America was offering weapons to fight ISIS, like, Giuliani was like, don't accept American weapons. We don't need their help. Because, I mean, he fought America in Iraq too. So, but I think it's very interesting because the way that they look at the West is just very interesting. Because, like, you would think that Russia would be the big bad there, right? But so anyway, you were saying they're still jihadists, and I do a little bit of generalization, so like people from a Western mind can kind of understand the difference between HTS, ISIS, and al-Qaeda. And ISIS are like internationalist fascists. They want an international fascist empire. And then al-Qaeda are also internationalists, but they're like anti-monarchy Sharia forces. You know, they're really focused on like disposing a regime to install an Islamic State in that regard.
This might be
HTS calls themselves popular jihad, so they're still jihadist, but they're also populist. They've written this philosophy about how they want to kind of govern from the bottom up, not necessarily democratic. And you know, Gaddafi said the same shit. But hey,
I mean, it's an improvement.
Yeah, it's definitely an improvement. But I'm wondering what Jelani's going to do about the SNA, because like HTS guys have been getting more and more pissed off with the SNA since this whole offensive started. Like, they literally kicked all the SNA fighters out of Aleppo City the other day because they kept fucking looting people's houses and shit.
Yeah, he's gonna have to have a long conversation with Turkey. Hopefully, the Turks don't drone strike him.
Honestly, bro, if the Turks drone strike him, I think most Syrians will be like, okay, the Turks need to get the fuck out of the country now.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's actually.
But did you see what happened in Manbij today? What the SNA tried to do?
Oh, that's what I wanted to get to next.
Yeah, so basically, a bunch of like an SNA convoy basically tried to bum rush Manbij. Like, they essentially just drove as fast as they could through the defensive line to cut into the city center of Manbij. But as soon as they got in the city, they basically all got ambushed and slaughtered. Essentially, like there's some very not safe for work videos of dozens of them dead in the street. Like, they got their shit kicked in, basically.
I think, yeah, I read like 12 of them died today.
Way more than 12, bro. Way more than 12. I've seen probably like 50 of them dead in Manbij.
Oh, okay.
So the old ISIS habits die hard.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
bro. And apparently the
they didn't even put the bombs in the car. Like, what are you guys doing?
But apparently the one of the main commanders of the Sultan Murad unit in SNA got killed today in Manbij as well.
Oh, okay.
That's an improvement.
Yeah, be careful on Sharo's account, because he's posted some of that footage of all the dead guys.
Well, that's why I pull it up on my other monitor first. To make sure there's nothing in the background that I'm trying to avoid.
Also, apparently the US has spoken to the SNA and basically told them to stay. Oh shit! Oh yeah, apparently the US told the SNA to basically leave Rojava alone, at least in Deir ez-Zor and Raqqa. I don't know about Manbij, but I know for a fact that they told them to stay the fuck away from Deir ez-Zor and Raqqa.
Hopefully, we say
it's very concerning because Trump will be president in like a month or so.
Yep.
And his relationship with Turkey is very. I think his relationship with Turkey is very good. So
yeah, it is.
A problem. That's a problem. It's
that's the biggest issue.
Yeah, it is a big issue.
And
it's the biggest issue for
yeah,
Rojava.
and did you see that Barzani met Trump yesterday in Paris?
Jesus Christ!
I was about to say I didn't, but right when you said Paris, I was like,
Yeah. Barzani met Trump and Elon in Paris yesterday, and they looked like they were having a very friendly conversation.
Jesus Christ!
That's good.
It feels like a mixed bag because they're both dumb as shit.
Yeah, but also
Barzani.
the Barzanis are fucking basically just paid off by Turkey to be like the Barzanis are basically like the Vichy France of Kurdistan. Like, they're basically just Turkish fucking puppets at this point.
Yeah, it's not to that like
not a fan
degree, but it's kind of but I think we need them. It's like, as a Kurd, I can say, and like who had family members who died fighting for the YPG against ISIS. I can say that Kurdish people are tired, and yes, Turkey is like depriving our rights and taking our rights away and like doing all of this horrible stuff. But at one point, we should like start making like concessions, like small, like I'm not saying like give up the rights and stuff like that, but I'm saying it has to happen like at a degree, like from different angles, to see like which angle we can make peace with. I don't know, it's very complicated. It's like the same situation between Britain and like the Irish Republicans. It's like the same exact like scenario. It's like exactly the same. And the the Republicans will not go away. Like the fighters will never go away as long the fight is carried on. And when peace happens in acknowledgement of the cultural variety of Kurdish people, like just the acknowledgement that they exist as people, like, and their languages and culture and everything exist, and it has to be an essential part of the region, then maybe you will see the PKK calming down, but they will not calm down before that.
Yeah. Wait, there's 4 questions.
Go ahead.
Are the Turkish armed forces directly involved, or is it just Turkish-backed groups?
It's a good question.
No.
You want Comrade dropped out. Actually, Alan, go first. Yeah.
No, the Turkish army never fights. It's like they only train the Syrian National Army. That's like the opposition army. They only train them. They never directly fight. I don't think they're allowed to directly fight. Like, it's a mandate from
The
Erdogan.
one time they did, like it was like in recent, like last
2019.
4 years.
Yeah, it didn't go so hot.
Russia was still involved, and then it was like NATO on Russia violence. So
that was a separate
why
one.
they don't fuck around there.
Oh no, the one time the Turkish army directly engaged the YPG on the ground, it didn't go so well. It was basically they tried to push a tank column into Afrin, and they basically got decimated by ATGMs. There's a pretty famous video of a YPG fighter hitting one of the Turkish leopards with an ATGM.
I'm pretty sure I have a video of that happening.
Yeah, and it fucking blows up into smithereens. Yeah, they lost I think they lost like a dozen tanks in that one attack. Like, it was ridiculous. They just got absolutely schmacked. But yeah, bro, the Turkish army is like kind of dog shit.
You don't want to fight the YPG. You don't want to fight them. They're training and Kandil for like decades. They're like very, very ferocious fighters. And Turkey has also like zero experience. When was the last time Turkey fought a war?
It's complicated.
Cyprus?
Technically Libya, because
true.
They are in Libya. They also are in Somalia,
Libya.
but it's more of a training thing there too.
Yeah. But like a proper war, like a proper real war with their like full ground army, like
when they were
Cyprus.
The Empire.
But that's the thing though, like in the 70s, I think.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But like, bro, like the thing is with the Turkish army, like without their air force, they're just dog shit, bro. Like I can't lie. Like the hundreds and hundreds of videos I've seen of the Turkish army just getting their shit kicked in by the PKK in the Kurdish regional government in the mountains.
God, yeah, just in the mountains.
It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous, bro. The amount of casualties they take in those mountains every year is actually stupid.
In fairness, though, the PKK are also extremely good, right?
Yeah, true. They are like one of the better. They are like probably one of the best insurgent groups. But like the thing is as well, like it's got to the point where they hide casualties in the funniest ways imaginable. Like the amount of times I've seen that like Turkish army like sergeants and stuff have been struck by lightning, according to the Turkish Ministry of Defense. Or I even saw one last year that apparently a Turkish like special forces guy got killed from an allergic reaction to bees. Like it's ridiculous. The excuses they come up with to hide their casualty rates is actually insane.
Actually, it's very encouraging that the YPG is very strong. It's the only thing that's make me sleep at night, that my family in Rojava are safe. And because I've read a lot of comments, like tweets today in Arabic from, I don't know who these people are. I have no idea. Maybe not even Syrians. Some of them said we're not Syrians, and they were like saying like the Kurds are next. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Like, it's like today Assad fell, and you're like doing this bullshit. It really like made my blood boil.
a lot of the Free Syrian crowd, in my experience, they are hyper. What's the term? Very cute, very touchy about Arabic regions, right? Because they think, they don't really. Nobody really reads everybody else's local news, right? So they don't really know per se that most of the SDF, like I think Comrade pointed out to me earlier, about half of the SDF is Arab, right? Sorry, not Arabic, Arab. They don't. It's just not a. They don't recognize that. Oh, Arabs actually play a pretty integral role in Rojava's government, society, system, etc. So they think they want to be liberated, but it's not nearly as cut and dry as that, right?
No, it's not. I know Arabs people from our region, like they're like a friend of mine who lives in my city. He told me like his brother fought for the YPG, and he actually died. He was very sad. He told me a year ago, and but like basically his brother was fighting for the YPG, and people like are like there's a good relationship in some areas. People coexist with each other, but I think it's actually, to be honest with you, it's a fault of the Kurdish media. Maybe we should maybe we should enhance our message to make people understand that we have a good relationship in our region in Rojava, because people outside of it don't know that. There's lots of propaganda going around.
So this is down here at the bottom. Guys, come on, the PKK staying strong. But the Kurdish people are being displaced and depopulated. It's not a real victory.
I'd say it's a mixed bag, right? If I'm not mistaken. He'll be back. Yeah.
I just have to
if I'm not mistaken, there's the SNA are assholes, right? A bunch of them are literally ex-ISIS guys, right? But they have a solid point, right? Both the SNA and the SDF, not speaking specifically to their organizations, Arabs were displaced from Rojava, right? And Kurds have been displaced from the Arab portions of Aleppo and Idlib, right? So I understand why everybody wants to fight right now, especially since it's like that monkey meme, the monkeys fighting meme, where Turkey is just throwing money at them all. But this is a sort of a moment where, hey, everybody can sort of calm down and actually talk it out, right? Because there doesn't really need to be any conflict anymore, right? The only person who was just being a dick consummately was Assad.
Yeah, but also the SNA's job, the SNA's only job at this point is to kill Kurds. So they can't really do anything else, because Turkey pays all their wages. They house SNA fighters in Turkey. They house their families. They pay for everything for them. So when Turkey tells them jump, the SNA says how high. So they don't really have an option.
I think it's dependent on two factors, two main factors, how it will end up, how the situation will end up with the Kurdish forces and the rest of the opposition forces, like the Ahrar al-Sham and the national Syrian National Army. I think it depends on one fact. The factor number one is Erdogan, his government, because I've read something, and I hope it's correct, that Erdogan wants right now to have a good relationship with the Kurdish people for a political reason. So he needs the Kurdish
I mean, he has a good
faction.
relationship with Barzani, so.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. I'm talking about the Kurds in Turkey.
I know. I'm just saying, it's not unreal that he would want that, because it's happened before.
It's very realistic, and I read it, and I hope it's correct. So it depends on that. That's factor number one. And factor number two is I think it's very dependent on the leadership of the opposition, on the Ahrar al-Sham, and it's also the Syrian National Army. It's because the soldiers, they're reckless. They want to fight the Kurds, but the leadership could be much wiser than them, I think. I think I don't know. I have some faith in the Jolani. I'm not like 50-50. To be honest. Like,
I say instead of faith, it's hope. You know, and slowly
Yeah.
the hope will become
Okay.
cope,
yeah,
and
like
dropped.
We'll be back.
Hmm.
let's see what happens.
How
Oh
do you
shit,
guys-
am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Mhm.
Yeah, but the thing is with Jelani, I've got a lot more hope in Jelani because he's actually like pragmatic and sensible, and he's a lot more independent from Turkey. Well, especially now. Now he's like, I don't even think he doesn't even need Turkey anymore. He can tell them to fuck off, basically. But
Yeah.
I think, and the thing is as well, HTS and the SDF still haven't fought at all during this entire thing. Even the fucking even the leader of the PYD, which is the political, like the main political party in Rojava that started the revolution, even he came out, I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago, and said, yeah, like our relations with HTS are fine. It's just the SNA.
That's perfect, actually.
How do you guys think it will look in 1 week, 1 month, 6 months?
Bro, who knows? At this point, bro, I can't predict anything. I can't predict anything with Syria.
I
at the
can
moment.
take some guesses.
Like, not even Jolani knows like what will happen in 1 week. You know, it's like
Mhm.
nobody knows. Not nobody. Like not Netanyahu, not Jolani, not.
I wouldn't. I
I have
wouldn't necessarily.
guesses.
Yeah, I have a few guesses. I wouldn't say nobody, right? I don't want to say it would be an exaggeration to say that people or the various factions are being puppeteered, right? Everybody's sort of doing their own thing, occasionally aligning with one another's interests. So there's actually, this is sort of a weird way of framing it for everybody who's been around the Syrian civil war for years, right? You don't really think of it in terms of anything other than Syria and the war, but there's sort of a broader conflict ongoing, right, between not quite the U.S., but you'd say, speaking generally, Western civilization and the broader jihadist as it were, right? Al-Qaeda, Haqqanis, the IRGC is actually working with them, Hezbollah, etc., etc. They all have their own grand plans, and versus a system that kind of knows they exist, but it doesn't really recognize what they're doing. So within the confines of Syria itself, I'd say the trajectory is altogether positive, right? Because, like you guys said, there's no reason for HTS and HTS and the SDF to be fighting, and the SNA and the SDF are fighting over, like, I don't know, kind of. They're not really fighting; they're sort of just skirmishing, I guess.
Yeah.
The main, the broader, the only like real problems on the horizon are the foreign fighters that Giuliani had to tap in, because they're sort of part of the grand campaign that I'm alluding to. John knows about the Haqqanis too, by the way. It's not just me.
Oh yeah, bro. Fucking James, I was speaking to one of my Somali friends the other day, who's still in Somalia, and he was saying that the local news was reporting that IRGC guys are meeting with Al Shabaab.
Yeah.
In like in some sort of like coordination shit with the Houthis.
Yeah. The Houthis actually sent them a bunch of drones and weapons, even though.
Yeah. I remember seeing that. Didn't the Somaliland like naval border force like intercept one of their smuggling operations or something?
I
I
believe that was
remember hearing something like
Puntlands,
that.
actually.
Oh yeah, Puntland. Yeah, bro. Somalia is not even a real fucking country, man. There's like 3 countries inside Somalia.
It's funny. Somaliland is literally more of a real country than Somalia.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know
unironically one of the most
Like,
democratic
what
places
do
in
we do?
Africa.
Why are we not with Somaliland? It's a legitimate country there.
I think it's if you want to understand what will happen in Syria, you have to understand that the Syrian people are extremely tired. They're extremely traumatized. They want this shit to get done. Like people been living in tents for 12 years now. You know, it's unimaginable. 12 million refugees. Some people like the minimum estimates of the casualties, like the minimum, the people who have their names written, like registered and everything, as like 350,000. That's like the minimum, and some estimates goes up to 1 million. So it's like a number between 300,000 and 1 million. It's people they want this shit to be over with, but it's not up to them. It's up to the fighters, and it's up to external factors. Like Turkey is one of the main players. Russia is out. Russia is like completely out as a player. Bashar Assad is out. Israel. It all depends on America, Turkey, and Israel right now. And the main forces, like internally, are YPG, the Syrian National Army, and Ahrar al-Sham, which I don't remember how do you say it in English. It's like the
HTS.
Jolani forces.
HTS.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone
I
knows
had to,
what.
like,
Everyone knows their name anyway. I mean, maybe not all the viewers here, but
they know Ahrar al-Sham, right? Like this name, it's the original name. I'm sorry, it's like I have to like learn the name in English, you know. Yeah, and these are the main, you know, like YPG, like the Kurdish forces are, they're supported by the US. You know, the US love minorities. It's the best method to, like, we appreciate that. I understand that, and I appreciate it. Like, people tell me, like, you don't know you're being toyed with America, you're being like played with, they take you for fools. Motherfucker, we want them to take us as fools, because it's much better than your fucking treatment. So now people are forced to acknowledge and treat Kurdish people much better, because it's like we have the power, you know. I think
Yeah, exactly. Like, you got to remember, like, the SDF control what, like 40% of Syria, a good portion of like the best Arab land for agriculture, most of the oil fields. Like, they have a lot of leverage, bro. Like, any negotiation for the future of Syria, like, the SDF is going to be like, probably, if not the main, the second most important faction in deciding what happens to Syria in the future. And just an update as well in Sheikh Maksud. The Kurds still hold it, by the way. There's not a lot of talk on Twitter about it, but if you follow the right Telegram channels, all the YPG and the Revolutionary Youth, which is like, it's a bit like the PKK youth in Turkey, but it's basically like the YPG's version. They're all out on the streets and ready. So like, Sheikh Maksud's fine, man. Sheikh Maksud's not going anywhere. They lasted for the entire war. They're not going anywhere either. But yeah, bro, I think Jolani's smart enough to know that any future Syrian government, whatever form it takes, like, the Kurds are going to have a say, because, well, if they don't, they're going to have to fight, like, by numbers, the biggest faction in Syria. So, and Jolani doesn't want more fighting. Yeah, and the most organized.
They learned from Saddam. Yeah. They learned from Saddam. Like, you cannot repeat Saddam's historical mistake. And, you know, it's like, without the Kurds, Saddam, maybe, like, they wouldn't have tried him even. Like, I don't know. It would be completely different. Maybe he would have died anyways. But the Kurdish existence was a very big excuse for the US, I think.
Oh yeah, 100%, bro. Like the Peshmerga coming in from the north was a massive part of the invasion in Iraq.
Three.
About this yesterday.
Not just the Peshmerga, by the way.
The Kurdish regional government, you don't want them connected.
Well,
you know? Like,
actually,
Kurdistan could happen.
It's the first time we worked with the Peshmerga.
We dropped a bunch of we dropped a bunch of paratroopers. Actually, one of the commanders of CENTCOM in recent years was the guy who led the paratroopers who landed into Rojava and not Rojava, KRG, and pushed down south against Saddam. Right. So
yeah,
ties are close.
And they also did they also cleared out that valley. Yeah. They did. There was that huge battle.
They take out Kurdish al-Qaeda, Ansar al-Islam, right? They take out their base, and then Cheney claims that there was chemical weapons there because they had atropine and hazmat suits. And it says, here's the chemical weapons that al-Qaeda is making with Saddam. We killed al-Qaeda, now it's time to kill Saddam. Like, Ansar al-Islam was fighting Saddam. So
there was that huge battle for that. They were like
into Iran. Like there was forces fighting them back into Iran.
Wait, your mic.
Oh, it's because I'm getting feedback.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I was just saying that the forces pushed back into Iran. That's all.
Yeah. There was that big battle. It was in one of the valleys right next to the Iranian border, and you'll probably know this, James. You know the podcast ran by what's his name? The military journalist guy, Team House.
Ooh, Jack Murphy.
Yeah. He did a podcast episode with one of the CENTCOM guys that commanded the battle between the US and the Peshmerga against Ansar al-Islam in the valley in the invasion of Iraq, and it was just like insane. It was like 5,000 like Peshmerga guys like charging up this fucking valley to kick out al-Qaeda and shit. But
yeah,
50,000, I think, maybe.
This is the total. That's the total
Jesus Christ.
That's the total forces against Iraq.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But the thing is as well, like what's really important, what not enough people are talking about, is the fact that now Rojava has its own airport, which is fucking huge, bro. Huge for its economy. Yeah. Huge for bringing back a bunch of refugees that fled because of the war. And huge because that means that they can have a direct flights from like Erbil straight to Rojava now, which is massive. Because not a lot of people know this, but the PUK and the Talibanis, obviously they've got their own Peshmerga, their own militia in the KRG, and they've been doing joint missions with the SDF against ISIS in Rojava for years now. Like it was only a few months ago that Masloum Abdi was in a helicopter going into the KRG to meet baffled Talibani and stuff like that. So I think there'll be a lot of collaboration now between Rojava and the KRG government. If it's not the Barzanis, it'll definitely be with the Talibanis.
Well, not to get too far away from it, because you reminded me of predictions that I had of what could potentially happen. Now, it depends. If the Syrian interim government wants to be part of like the international recognized community, like the UN member state, the legitimized government. If we see that route, what we could potentially see is like more of a parliamentary system where local provinces are ruled and then they elect their own. So like the Kurds would have seats on the Syrian parliamentary council, but they would also have the autonomy of governing their own provinces, which is kind of like a lot of territories.
Yeah, and that's what they've been asking for anyway, isn't it? Like they've basically been asking for that.
Being cringe, it's because someone's not muting themselves. It's only my mic. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, it's only you, mate. Only you.
But yeah, like I was saying, like that's what they've been advocating for anyway. Like they don't want a separate state. They just wanted autonomy and basically to rule themselves and have their council and democratic confederalist system in their local areas and stuff. And they've got the power to negotiate for that. So I think as long as everything goes well, I think they'll get it. In my opinion, basically it all comes down to Turkey. And if Erdogan thinks, okay, now that Bashar and Russia and Iran are gone, he's going to lobby Trump to do the big push into Rojava. But thankfully, Trump's got some very like hawkish Middle Eastern guys in his cabinet. So
and
maybe
Tulsi.
Yeah, Tulsi's
well, you know what? Hang on. There's no cabinet.
Okay.
approval picks yet, so we can't say what he's got.
Yeah, true. None of them have been approved yet. True.
I've read something about Turkey, like Erdogan having some like shady relationship with Trump, like some kind of like a bribe deal. And it's like you know about this, right?
Golf courses.
Yeah. So like Trump, this is everybody sort of presumes that Trump doesn't care about the Middle East at all, right? Or that he is obsessed with Israel because of his large evangelical base. In practice, he's basically Turkey and Egypt's bitch boy, to use a technical term.
Yeah.
Apparently he has had a number of cell phones or ghost or burner cell phones. The Egyptians supplied those, and the Turks are just sort of getting whatever they want from Trump, right? That's why they were able to invade Rojava in 2019, I think.
Yeah, bro. That whole invasion, that was decided over a single phone call. Like Erdogan literally just called him up and said, "Listen, like the YPG, that's actually the PKK and stuff." I think he basically confused him with all the acronyms and just convinced him. Basically, like I genuinely think Trump doesn't know any of the acronyms when it comes to Kurds at all.
I don't think he knows acronyms in general.
Yeah.
Too many letters.
That's what I'm saying. He's not going to be able to remember Jelani's name. That's our advantage.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
That was the best speech ever, man. Abdul Bakr al-Baghdadi. He died like a dog.
a beautiful dog. Oh God.
I'm trying to, there's a great moment with Bernie Sanders talking about the invasion of Rojava.
So it all depends on if Erdogan is a bitch.
Trump's the bitch boy.
He is a bit like we hope he's smart enough to understand, like to at least read fucking history, like understand, like read what happened to Ireland. It's like just think, man, just fucking think. Like you can't win against the PKK. You can't. It's been going on for 45 years. It won't happen. Okay, it won't happen.
I mean, somebody just sort of needs to sit him down, do the math, and show, hey, there are 40 million Kurds, 70 million Turks. What do you think is going to happen if you try and keep fighting? Just come on, peace, please. We can do the things you want to do elsewhere. It's fine. The U.S. will enable you. Who cares? Well, people care, but it's a problem. But
yeah, the thing is as well. I think that's one of the reasons why they're not letting Öcalan send messages from prison anymore. Because, like, when they were letting him send messages out, like, if you remember in 2015, when the uprisings happened in northern Kurdistan, like, all of that was happening, like, the battles in Jizra, Turkey bombing Kurdish cities and everything. Öcalan put out a statement from prison to stop the fighting, and it stopped. Like, that's how much influence he still has. And this is my, like, conspiracy theory, but I think he's dead in prison and they're just hiding it, basically. Because if Kurds found out that Turkey had basically killed him in prison, it would be over for Erdogan. It would be fucking over. It would make 2015 look like a joke.
No, I read something that he met his family like a week ago or something, 2 weeks ago.
Maybe, I think so.
The first time they've met, like, for 4 years now. I'm not sure. Like, I didn't like the sources. I don't know. I have to check it. Like, check the sources.
But yeah, like if Erdogan wants peace,
anything, no?
Yeah, if Erdogan wants peace, literally all he has to do is let Öcalan negotiate. That's all he has to do. Like, and it will be done, and it'll be finished and sorted. Like, it's not even hard.
Yeah, it's not hard.
But obviously, politically,
not, like, very. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, Kurdish people are not very picky. You know, it's just like give them their rights. let them speak their language. You know, I remember in 2009 I was studying economics in Damascus, and whenever I spoke Kurdish in the street in Damascus, people telling me like don't speak Kurdish in the street. You know, so that this was like 2 years before the revolution civil war started, and after it started, when it started, uh, Bashar al-Assad gave 300,000 Kurds identities. He gave them like papers. Before that period of time, they didn't have any identification papers. They couldn't buy lands. They couldn't like do anything. It's like basically living like non-existent, you know. And after the revolution, he was like, okay, you can speak Kurdish in the streets.
Well, he was probably scared, right? Because he knew if he knew, because Kurds are one of the biggest
He knew,
minorities.
yeah.
Like if he didn't give them something, then they were just going to join the rebellion as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, like it wouldn't.
know-
The only, in my opinion, the only thing holding Erdogan back from actually negotiating a peace settlement with the Kurds is that his political base are Turkish nationalists, and they'd hate him for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That's like basically the same with Netanyahu and Ben Gavir and right. It's like the
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Very similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It's,
because if Erdogan negotiated some sort of peace settlement with the Kurds, like he could never be in the AKP or MHP or any of that side of Turkish politics again. Like they'd see him as a traitor essentially, and he'd lose. He'd probably lose to the CHP in the next election. He'd be fucked.
He almost lost this election.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, I think he would have lost if there wasn't vote rigging. Well, like
Yes.
because if you followed that election, there was blatant vote, especially in Kurdish areas. Like you had Turkish soldiers and police that are stationed in Kurdish areas but don't even live there, going to the voting booths and just voting Erdogan and stuff like illegally, and like all sorts of crazy shenanigans, like ballot boxes being completely stuffed with AKP votes and all sorts of shit. Like I think honestly, if that election was like a real election, he would have lost.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. No, it's actually
So
it's very
just
interesting.
checking their fake democracy index score, but the new ones aren't out yet. I want to see if it got even lower.
Democracy score. It's
Yeah,
actually
just
very
like from
interesting.
Freedom House. It's not like a real thing. It's analysts giving arbitrary scores.
Yeah, like also the happiness index and shit like that.
Yeah. You know, they're
you know,
just
it's
a
very
helpful
interesting.
guide for people.
It's very interesting how Kurdish people are like naturally dissident. You know, it's like they really hate everybody, and it's like, you know, in 2004 there was like the Kurdish revolution in Syria. It's like before 2011, like the Syrian civil war. Like there was like a separate only Kurdish minor revolution because I think they imprisoned some people and killed one guy, or I think, and the whole Rojava like back then went on demonstration, and they demolished like the statues of Bashar al-Assad and Hafez al-Assad, and it was like unprecedented. Like, can you imagine, like people in Syria and the Arab regions don't speak about the system. Like before the revolution, they say like
Someone's finding out that your books are fake.
Oh, no, they're not fake. I moved from. Sorry to cut you off, Alan. Sorry about that. I have another room
It was my
over
fault.
there. sorry. I have another room over there that's full of books, wall bookshelf. But I had to move over here because there's no space to mount screens. So I had just screens here, green screen there, books over there. Yeah.
I was impressed by the books, but I'm less impressed.
I think it's more impressive the fact that they're real. They're just somewhere else. He just wanted them still behind him. So instead of moving all the bookshelves.
Yeah, but is it like the same volume of books? You know, it's like, is it?
Oh yeah. I have around
just read them though.
1,500 books. I am very lethargic of reading. I'm too busy trying to keep up on events. It's a problem. I have no time to read.
Yeah, I have the same problem.
Yeah, the Haqqani picture collection, the folder is pretty big. I will admit it.
But yeah, you know the Kurdish uprising in 2004. Wasn't that when Bashar killed a bunch of Kurds at that football match?
Yes, exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
in the football match in Kamishli, there was a football match, and there were like some riots, and he killed some people. I think 2 people. I'm not exactly sure, but like you said, it was a football match, and then the demonstration started,
Yeah.
and they demolished the statues, and it was unprecedented in Syria because people used to say like the walls have ears. You know this saying? And nobody could say anything. But in Kurdish areas, always like if you in Rojava, even before the revolution, people talked about Bashar al-Assad, talked about Hafez al-Assad, like cussed them, these motherfuckers, like they didn't give a shit, And when after this is the funny part, after in my city in Amuda, after the everything is settled and revolution is settled, like the mini revolution is settled, they made another statue of Hafiz al-Assad in Amuda main square. It was original size, and it was like smaller than usual. And he one of the one of my neighbors went and asked the officer there, and he said like, why is he so small? And the officer said it's the original size, and this guy said he should have drank more milk to to grow bigger.
Raw milk,
But
though.
it's like it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Kurds everywhere, though. Like look at Iran. Like when the uprising happened in Iran a couple of years ago, it started because of Gina Amini, and obviously she was Kurdish. And the biggest protests and riots were in Rojava. They were in the Kurdish areas, especially like Mahabad and places like that.
Yeah, they're very decent. And the next day they placed on his mouth, on the statue's mouth, like a baby bottle. They taped it to his mouth, and in a week they replaced it. They took down the statue and replaced it with a much bigger statue.
Well, at least they took the advice.
Holy
shit.
dude. Oh my god.
Fucking hell.
Like, can you imagine, like before the revolution, like 2005, like Soviet Stalin level of oppression, and like statue of Stalin, and they're like baby bottle on his face until they replaced him. Oh my god, man! Like Kurdish people are crazy, man.
Yeah, bro. I can't lie. When this all started, I was planning on going back, not with the military, but on my own to join YPG International. I think I probably still will after Christmas. Because I can't just dip out on Christmas on my family because they'll be asking a lot of weird questions. But I don't know, bro. I'm thinking like by the time I get there, will the fighting even still be happening? Like, I don't even know. I don't even know if they need me now.
Okay. Not to build bridges, I see.
No, but obviously I want to go there and fight in it because that's my skill set. Like, but like, fucking hell, would they even need me in the new year? I don't know. Obviously, if they're still fighting with the SNA,
Diplomacy time, mate.
Yeah, if they're still fighting with the SNA, I'll probably
Somebody's
still go.
not tired. The only guy who's going to be in Syria who's not tired of the war.
But I want to go back though, man. I miss it. I miss Hasaka, man. It's a good place.
People in 30 years will be saying like, man, this guy fought like in Syrian war, like you remember, like 30 years ago.
It's crazy.
But bro, I
It's
miss
like I've never seen Syria when it's nice. I've only seen ruins.
I can't lie though, Hasaka was good, man. Hasaka was chill, bro. Like I used to get my haircuts there and get shawarma there and stuff on base.
It's not ruins street by street.
I don't like Hasaka, to be honest. Like as a Kurd,
Why not?
I can honestly say it's we don't like it because okay, this is maybe a racist reason. Maybe I should change my ways because they're like a big percentage of Arabs. But it's I like it now.
But yeah, but didn't I can't remember what year, but it was like way back in the day. Didn't the either Hafez or the government that came before him take a bunch of the Kurds' land in like massacre in the regions more south of that and give it to the Arabs.
Yeah, it happens a lot. It's a project. You can Google the project. It's named in Arabic Al-Hizam al-Arabi, which means English the Arabic Belt project. Yeah, you know about it,
Yeah.
James.
Because
Yeah, and
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's right. I was gonna. Sorry. Boss 6663 has asked like a few times. Do the Kurds have anti-air to counter Turkish airstrikes? And I'm pretty sure Comrade and Alan might have a good answer for that.
well, the PKK has their own anti-drone now. It's like a drone interceptor to take down TB2s, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see the YPG have a few of those now. Also, to be honest, I would be shocked if the SDF hasn't captured a bunch of manpads from the base in Deir ez-Zor.
Yeah. And I also
Because go on, sorry.
No, you go on. Finish.
Because even though like the SDF, like OPSEC wise, has been very good about not posting captured equipment, there was a video today, I think, of like a huge convoy of trucks carrying ammunition and equipment out of the Deir ez-Zor military base that they captured and going north, probably up to Kamishlo or something to like take stock of everything that they've captured. Like, and I'd be shocked if there weren't some manpads in there.
Yeah. And add to that, I know for certainty that I've read it like many years ago that the United States have provided YPG with the SAM-7 missiles. And
yeah,
I'm
I've heard
sure.
a lot of rumors about that as well.
United
I've heard a lot of
States
rumors
also
about that as
shot
well.
down a Turkish drone
I'm not
because it
sure.
was-
Are SAM-7 missiles like anti? They
Yeah,
can
yeah,
shoot,
I'm
like,
I'm
jets,
pretty
right?
sure they are.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they are. The I've heard a lot of rumors over the past 2 years of the US training the YPG on the Avenger, which is basically imagine a Humvee with Stinger missiles on the back, basically. I've heard a lot of I've never seen that confirmed, but I've heard it from like reliable people that that's been happening. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think Turkey can never like truly meaningfully invade like with Air Force and stuff like that. They can't do anything, to be honest. They're like the YPG is very, very strong. Like
Yeah.
they have anti
So
everything.
many.
And also, like, you got to remember, like, even if like, let's say the worst happened, right, and they took like Manbij and Kobani and stuff, like the worst happened, there would be a massive insurgency in those cities because we saw the exact same thing in Afrin with the Afrin Liberation Forces. Like, the HRE in the Kurdish acronym, they're still fighting in Afrin and have been for years, and were killing Turkish and SNA guys for years. Like, there would be the exact same thing, but even more strong in places like Kobani or Manbij if the Turks even did take it over. So, like, yeah, I don't think the Turks will get very far unless the only way I see the Turks being successful is if the US like tells them, just gives them the green light and says you can do whatever you want. But even then, it will still be really hard for them. Like, to try and take like Kobani or Kamishlo or Manbij will be so hard for them.
And
Especially if
Also,
they're using the
what would
SNA
also
to do
be
it.
interesting if it was like a legitimate military force invading. You might have the rest of Syria get behind that just in a like stance of nationalism and solidarity there.
Yeah, true. Jelani might say, like, you're imposing on Syrian sovereignty to do something.
Julani
Like
could be smarter than Erdogan.
yeah, it's good to add just quickly. Don't want people to get the wrong impression. Turkey is very strong, right? A lot stronger than the
they're strong.
Syrian government ever was. But the Kurds are also very strong. They're just a very hard, tough nut to crack, right?
Yeah, basically,
Imagine
like,
Russia was stronger than Ukraine.
Yeah,
Exactly.
true, true. But yeah, man. Honestly, like I only think the worst, like the absolute worst case scenario, is possible if like the Turks invade, Jelani does nothing, the US completely lets it happen, and like I don't know, like the Arab parts of the SDF like defect or so. Like it would have to be an insane chain of events for the worst thing
even
to happen.
even then,
Turkey is
the
the
baseline.
second. Uh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm
Turkey
sorry.
is the
Hey, just talk for a
okay.
second.
I'll go. Turkey is the second strongest country in NATO.
Yeah.
It's like,
Mhm.
like lots of people don't know this, but it's very strong. It's the second strongest in NATO, and it's it is like very rusty in fighting, but that wouldn't be a problem. If it takes if they like if they did like what Russia did. It's like Russia maybe was rusty in the first when they attacked Ukraine, and then they warmed up over the years.
Yeah, like
Entrenched, yeah.
And
yeah, like the
yeah,
biggest
and
problem is the Turkish Air Force. Like I'm not even
yeah,
worried
Mhm.
about the Turkish ground army because to be honest, bro, they're not all that. Like they're really not that good. But the Turkish Air Force is the biggest problem. Um
yeah.
honestly,
And US, the US
gone
can't say to give us our weapons back. It's like they already gave the Kurds their weapons. It's too late. It's like
yeah. Yeah, and like I think honestly like if it depends who's in Trump's cabinet, but if the Turks keep pressing the US to let them invade, I wouldn't be surprised if the US gave the SDF some anti-air capabilities like Stingers or something just to deal with the Turkish Air Force or impose like a no-fly zone or something similar.
yeah,
Actually, I think the
man.
boss I was gonna say something along those lines. That it would be Turkey's Vietnam. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it
It's
would
not.
be a shit show. And it would make, and it would really, really turn. Like, if they did this now, especially after Bashar's gone, I think it would turn a lot of, like, even Arab Syrians really against Turkey.
Yeah, they already
Because,
basically have.
yeah, because even a lot of Syrians hate Turkey because of how Syrian refugees are treated in Turkey anyway.
Not the
Yeah.
diaspora though. They eat up all the Turkish bullshit.
Well, it
and
depends
believe all
what
their
diaspora, though. It
garbage.
depends what
Yes, that
diaspora.
is
Yeah.
true.
The Western diaspora in like Europe, yes,
Mhm.
but the diaspora in the Middle East, where they're treated like shit, especially in Turkey, they don't really like the Turkish government. They just
It's
have to live.
exhausting.
They
Yeah,
just had to live there.
it's like
Anyway,
man, like the geopolitical potentials of what could happen. It's really like very open. It literally like in 2 years you could see a
Nice.
friendship between Turkey and Israel, like a very good friendship, like an alliance even. That
Well,
could happen. That could happen.
they are already good friends. They just pretend they're not to
Yeah,
please
and
their population.
no, but like stop pretending and really like because
Oh
to be
yeah,
honest
true.
with you,
Yeah.
I don't think Israel would survive if they don't have good friendships in the region right now because I don't think the United States will support them forever. I really think absolute max 15 years. Like it will probably withdraw their support in 10 years because like it's really shifting right now. The political perception in the United States is really shifting. Like when when Gaza happened and I saw the reactions online, I couldn't believe it. Like man, 3 years
Mhm.
ago you were not allowed to say anything about Israel. You're not allowed to say anything about Israel. And now in Germany, like I live in Germany, and I see people like I see German friends, and everybody they're saying like, man, Israel is shit. It's like it's you can like the perception shift, the cultural shift, the understanding shift is very fast. In 5 years, it will really start collapsing the relationship. And Israel really needs good relationship with Turkey. They can't like go on forever like treating their neighbors like shit.
Well, I've said for a while, basically, like, if the US actually got behind Kurds, like, they could have another Israel. geopolitically, it doesn't even make sense to me.
Yeah, 100%, bro. This is what I've always said. Like, it's in America's interest to be an ally to the Kurds, bro. Like 100%. It would be their best ally in the Middle East because, like the Kurds aren't like fucking ethnically cleansing and genociding another minority. Like they're pretty chill, and if they got what they wanted, they'd be like a pretty stable country. Like even if it was just like every Kurdish region got their own version of the KRG, like they'd be pretty fucking stable and like successful, and like the US would definitely want to support that.
Can I go on a little tangent here?
Yes.
So like a lot of people, because of my tweets, etc., they have the perception that I am very anti-Israel. That's not quite the case. I compared to like most Americans my age, I am essentially a moderate. I believe Israel has a right to exist. I just think they need to kind of knock off the kind of settler colonial bullshit, right? Because Palestinians and Israelis are cousins. These conflicts are completely unnecessary, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just looking at the polling data, right? People switched from way to my right, my right, whatever, right to just way to the left of. They don't think Israel should exist, or they think it's a settler colonial state. They're believing everything that the Marxists say, or not the Marxists. Well, kind of. It's complicated.
You can generalize. It's fine.
They don't think Israel should exist because of its conduct in Gaza, right? And I don't think that's the case. But I'm trying to stress that a lot of Americans think that's the case, and it's basically everyone under the age of 30 at this point, right? As Alan pointed out, in 15 years, they're going to be the predominant political class in the U.S., right? So Israelis, my Israeli friends are knowledgeable of this, but Israelis in general don't seem to be cognizant of the way the wind's blowing in Europe and the U.S., right? Without Europe and the U.S., the Israeli project becomes completely unviable, right? It's surrounded.
Actually, not to interrupt, I'm just like a small idea before you continue with. They actually understand it. Like I've read articles from like their main newspaper that Netanyahu actually said, like, I actually understand and I fear what will happen in a decade or two, and just like to add this to your continue tangent.
it's yeah, Netanyahu's smart. He understands everything, right? But the people around him are consummate dipshits. That's just putting it politely, right? Ben-Gvir's a fucking idiot. Smotrich is smart, but he is predacious as shit, right? Ben-Gvir is the internal security minister. He's the guy who's been blocking aid to Gaza. Smotrich is the person who has been threatening to sever funding to the West Bank. Oh, yeah, that's Ram's great.
Should we see what Haqqani had to say real quick?
Oh, has he already said something?
You don't want to know what Haqqani said. You don't want to know what Siraj said. But we're going to look at it anyway. He is like me, but on steroids, meth, cocaine, and ketamine.
Okay, I just want, because last time we showed terrorist material, we were destroyed by YouTube. So I just want to say this is totally not. This is AI. This is a fake video.
Fake video,
Also,
not real.
You know, we're showing what he has to say because it's fucking important. So like, YouTube, go fuck yourself if you want to fucking ban us because you act like we're promoting terrorism because we're educating people on what actual risks are. I'm gonna play it muted too, so that way they really can't tell.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You were gonna say?
No, I was gonna say you couldn't see the words, but now we can.
Peter, that's not the way.
That's not muted. Not terrorist material on the screen right now.
We pay him. It's okay.
That's how I love all this shit. He's always like, be mindful and accountable. It's just like the chairman Mao, you know, embrace self-critique, but don't fucking talk. Don't tell us how we're fucking up, or you're gonna die, bitch.
Al-Qaeda is never gonna get him out. Al-Qaeda is senile as shit, right? Allegedly, possibly, potentially, he has syphilis, right? His brain is rotted. He's been spending his last years trying to cement his family members' power in Afghanistan.
Wait, you mean the Taliban have their own Joe Biden?
Basically, yeah. No, his replacement's going to be Siraj, probably. Siraj has been very quiet about taking power, right? He can do it whenever he wants, technically, but he's the obvious choice.
Bro, did you see what ISIS said about Jelani?
Did they call him
What did they say?
They basically called him like a pretend jihadist and said he's basically the same as a Ba'athist now because he's like talking about moderation and stuff. They're like calling him like a fake Muslim and like that he doesn't want to implement Sharia and like he's like a puppet of the West.
Classic.
Oh my god, man!
That's how
it's fucking. Man, there are like 2,000 people. Like, there's nothing left of you, motherfuckers. You should just die already.
Well, there's nothing much left of them in Syria and Iraq, but like in other places, bro, like West Africa and like Lake Chad and stuff like that, they're kicking the shit out of the local governments, and it's not good.
Okay.
Should we
talk about the
prison?
Can you
Before we talk about anything else, I want to make a point. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, on X, saying that Syria will become Afghanistan right now, and they will implement Sharia law and stuff like
Libya
that.
as
That
well,
will
they
never
say
happen.
that.
You know, it's like Syria is much more secular than Afghanistan. It's much. It's like it's not like bragging. I'm sorry that it sounds like that, but it's like Syrian. Okay, shit, I don't want to say it like that, but they're very educated. I think it's like there's like Western levels, high school graduates,
they're
college graduates.
Look at the region they're in. It's just regionally comparison. Like the opportunities aren't the same for a port nation compared to a mountain nation.
Yeah.
That
Also, like even the neighbors, like look at Lebanon and Iraq. Like they're way more liberal than anywhere like Afghanistan or Pakistan. Like it's not even close.
Yeah, and Kurdish people are the most secular liberal group in like the whole Middle East. Like not even Middle East. Like I think it's like in a very big region, biggest
to Europe also.
percent of atheists. Like the biggest percent of my city, Amuda, I think has like 50% atheists. Like this Western levels. I think you remember. One of my friends wrote on the mosque for sale as a joke, and it's like
yeah, bro.
Nobody wants it up for atheists.
When I was in Rojava, bro, like half of the YPG company that we had, like half of them like hadn't gone to mosque in years. Like some of them drank. Like they didn't care. Like most of them didn't even care about any of that stuff.
Yeah, you're in Syria, you're in Rojava, going to a restaurant and ordering like a glass of whiskey. It's like you're living your life. You know, it's like you have a girlfriend, you walk together. It's completely different than like all of the countries and neighbors and regions and cities around them. So that will never
Okay.
happen in Syria. There's just like to make that clear that it will never ever happen. Like already today, like the Arabiya and Al Jazeera journalists, like the female journalists, they're walking without hijab, like among the fighters. Nobody's like noticing even. Like it's like very nothing, you know. So that will never happen. Like, I just want to make this clear, okay? Yeah.
Is there anything else we want to touch on as far as like any offensive going on or anything like that?
Can we circle back to the Israeli offensive? Really
Yes,
quickly?
please. I would love to.
So I'm not trying to bully Israel here, but this was fucking.
You can bully them. Fuck them.
This is sort of fucking cataclysmically stupid, right? There was the golden opportunity to make friends with everyone in the region, right? Nobody likes Assad, right? Even Syrians in Damascus, as we just heard, don't like Assad. If they just bombed some SAA targets during the HTS's offensive, they would have made a lot of friends, right? Even HTS probably would have given them props at some point. But Bibi's government bombed targets behind HTS's lines, right? That's not smart. They are essentially saying, oh, there's a new government rising in Syria, and we are opposed to them too. It is just not a very shrewd thing to do, right? Even if HTS wanted to have peace with Israel right now, I don't see how they can. They sort of don't really have a choice except to pull in the foreign fighters and have them do everything that they don't necessarily want to do.
Oh, I didn't even realize you dropped.
Wait, am I back?
Oh yeah,
No, yeah, I have to add it.
Yeah. But yeah, bro. Like, did you see that they bombed the main headquarters for the intelligence agency in Damascus?
That was the worst. Yeah, terrible time to bomb them, right? Because HTS is taking it, right? They were going to go through the documentation, etc., to just ferret out the crimes of the Assad government.
I think that they're worried that they would have found out about any dealings that Mossad had with the Assad family, and they were
They
and
did
they were
this
shit scared.
when the US invaded Iraq. That's what they did too.
James, to your point, before I forget, to what you said earlier about like fighting Israel, I 100% agree with you, but it's like I really don't want to start this discussion because I honestly think that this discussion alone like deserve like another realm of its own. Like it's another analysis, another it's another adventure. You know, it's like it's a big problem, and honestly.
Yeah, and like it's funny. Did you see what Netanyahu said today about what they're doing and stuff? He was like, "Yeah, we extend our hand in peace to all Syrians, but also we're like bombing all the airfields and like capturing territory."
It's like they don't understand that HTS kind of needs those weapons to, like, I don't know, stamp out ISIS. Are you fucking kidding me?
Or bro, even then, like, if I was in Israel's position, I would encourage HTS to take all those weapons and go like fight Hezbollah or something. Like, why the fuck you? It's just stupid. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
A soldier in the bunker.
I'm very curious to know what will happen to Hezbollah in the future.
They're fucked. They are fucked.
Yeah, they're completely done. And you see that speech Netanyahu when he said like, we love the Kurds, we love the Druze, but Arabs only people who only the Muslim. No, he said the Muslims only the people who doesn't want to fight us.
He's getting high off his own supply. right? Like
Yeah.
do you see? You can see the pro-Zionist Kurds who are very vocal, very loud. But
Okay,
Yeah.
he doesn't
Some
he doesn't
I know some of
recognize
them.
their
Some
minority.
of my friends. Yeah. It's a
Bro,
minority.
It's a minority.
yeah, so it's a massive minority, bro. There was some story leaked by the Israeli press that like Israel had been in contact with the SDF, and then the head of the PYD came out on a Twitter space and said the conversation never happened, and it will probably never happen ever in the future.
Yeah.
Would the SDF
You know,
work with Israel?
Fuck no,
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't think so.
bro. You got to remember, yeah, the PYD, which is the party that basically started the revolution in Rojava, is Democratic Confederalist and essentially like comes from the same movement the PKK does. Some of the first PKK fighters that ever died in combat died fighting the IDF in Lebanon. Like, they hate Israel.
Is that
Is
right?
that
I
right?
didn't know that.
Yeah, because there's
I
a
actually wanted to discuss this.
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah,
yeah, there's
continue.
a Kurdish community in Lebanon as well that a lot of people don't know about, and a lot of the first PKK fighters were training with the PLO in Lebanon. That's where they got some of their first training camps ever. And then when Israel invaded, they fought the IDF.
I think this like the potentiality of the YPG fighting Israel or like I mean fighting along with Israel, it's like very very narrow and specific. It only depends like if like somehow Turkey like convinced Julani and the other factions like the opposition to fight the Kurds, only then there is potential like alliance that could happen between IDF and YPD, but it's like almost non-existent, you know. It's like almost zero that will happen, but it's like existential matter, you know. It's like if you're cornered against the wall and like
Yeah, they'd probably even then they'd probably be like the last people they asked to help. The first person they asked to help would be the US. But yeah.
But you're correct. Like PKK and YPG understand like there's a very sophisticated ideological understanding like of the conflict, the regional conflict. Like it's not only like populist against like Arabs and Turks and stuff like that. No, they understand like the historical like geopolitical background, understanding that everything happened like after like it's been designed since the earliest like since 1915, like with Sykes-Picot and everything, you know. It's like even Israel's existence itself, like it was like a barrier against like Kurdistan in some way. They understand all of this, so they're not like.
It's kind of interesting though, because you would think that out of all the groups in this area, you would think the Kurds would be the hardest with Palestine, right? You would think. But
I think it's funny as well. Like the most psychotic Israeli politician is Ben Gvir, who's a fucking Kurdish Jew.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't know he was Kurdish. I thought he was Iraqi.
Yeah, but he's Kurdish. He's from. I think his family's from Erbil.
No shit.
Oh fuck, man! We disown this motherfucker. On behalf of, I actually can't speak for all the Kurds because there is a decent percentage that they think of themselves as pragmatic. You know, it's like yeah, we should be diplomatic with Israel, and they have some valid points to an extent. That it's not like good relationship. Like it's.
I mean, they were very diplomatic with Assad.
They don't have to make them your enemies.
Kind of,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah,
not
best
friends,
but
but like
you know what I'm saying.
you know what I'm saying.
Well, okay. Well,
cons-
on that, how diplomatic were they with Assad?
They
I mean,
sold Assad.
they only started. They basically signed a truce with Assad to not fight him when Turkey invaded Afrin. But like that truce was like held together by fucking like glue and duct tape. Like they were constantly fighting them in Deir ez-Zor. There were constant clashes in Sheikh Maksud in Aleppo with the local SAA there. Like, I mean, even calling it a truce is like a stretch. It was like basically stay out of my way and I'll stay out of yours. But even then, they still had clashes.
I mean, there was in the north. There was occupied territories controlled by the regime. Those just came back today, I think, maybe yesterday. Timelines are squeezing together because it's happening so fast.
Because that was.
You see that the Syrian girl said like, why did we give our gas away? It's like we should have.
Yeah. It should have just used the gas. God, man.
Who's
echoing?
It's
she's
Comrade.
so
It's because he's
stupid,
on a phone with no headphones, so he's trying to mute when he's not talking.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
That's why it echoes, because he wants to say something, so he's unmuting.
Unmutes and then it echoes. Yeah.
Yeah. People just gotta bear with it, you know.
I've been there before.
You want the
Actually, I want to say
sometimes
last thing about Parmesan girl, like the Syrian girl. I read some posts. Like, she wrote in Arabic, and her Arabic is terrible. Like it's like fifth grade level Arabic, and I was like, what the fuck? Like you don't even speak Arabic like properly. It's like get the fuck out.
You people have like worms in your brain, honestly.
Speaking of which, I played this earlier before we started, but we have a statement from her about the situation.
Oh, amazing.
So I figured before we get into and again, the stuff we're about to get into is some of the heaviest shit that I've seen, and it's just scratching the surface still. The stuff that's going to come out in the next few days is going to be very, very heavy.
Are we talking about the prison and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So before we get into this, we're going to have a little comedy bit here listening to her.
We are a superpower, but we do not have super patience.
Wow, great.
I have that too. Hold on.
Okay.
I actually haven't looked at any of the stuff that she's said, so I'm actually very excited.
Exo, whatever you're imagining is worse.
She lost her mind, and that's saying something. You know, it's like
kind of a back.
She had her mind?
She lost her mind.
When? When did she have it?
Oh, okay.
Well, there's obviously been some kind of a deal, some kind of a soft coup, some kind of a backdoor handshake, and the army simply chose not to fight, preserving our cities. And you have some clowns laughing over here. Would you kindly remove them? I don't have a mood for clowning right now. They're triumphalism. They're support of al-Qaeda. Okay, now you have 3 of them. If you would like a discussion with someone from our side of the fence, I would like you to remove everybody that's smiling right now.
You can't order that, dude.
Yeah,
Stop
but okay.
Those are my terms. Those are my terms. Another smiling emoji from the colonel, the clown colonel that supports our.
Syrian, just let's have a discussion.
Major General Al Hassan.
Let's have a discussion. Let me have a discussion if possible.
Yeah, let's have Syrian go finish, and then we can go from there.
Let's have Syrian go focus on me and all sorts.
And he's one that smiles.
It doesn't matter what they smile. What matters is what you're bringing to the discussion. And so
James, do you want me to stay?
I want you to.
Then you give them the order not to smile, or I go.
Guys, let's.
Okay.
Let's
that's my terms. These are my terms.
Okay, your terms.
Hold on.
Thank you, Syrian.
You can't.
No, you can control them because you can tell them that they can drop. You know,
No.
this Eric fellow, who I don't even know who he is.
Okay.
The colonel of Israel.
Okay.
No, but Syrian,
Look at them.
Syrian,
They're
if you
smiling.
have-
Look at their
if you
laughs.
have actual
How can
arguments-
we have a discussion? You ask me a question, and you have
Excuse
some
me,
clowns
James.
laughing as Al-Qaeda takes over Syria.
I
Is
can
this
understand why
acceptable?
you love authoritarian rule.
Okay, can I
Yeah, he's
just,
a pilot,
set
great!
up the thing? You guys,
Yeah, I do
it
love
is-
authoritarian rule.
It is a situation. Syrian, you're
Isn't she
in a situation
Australian?
where you're having a discussion.
Yeah.
Australian,
People
Syrian.
can react.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
control
bro.
what people can do.
The accent
Okay?
is
If
the
you want to
funniest
have a
thing.
discussion with us, we would love to have your position because we want to have that position, especially the people that are managing that space right now. That we want to understand what your arguments are, what the arguments are, what the Bashar position is, and what we're looking forward in that situation. If you want to engage in that discussion, we would happily do that.
My terms are he doesn't
There's no
smile.
terms. There's. Do you want to discuss?
All right,
or
then.
you wanna
I
discuss?
bid you good day, sir. I
Bye.
bid you good day.
Thank you, Syrian.
Fucking hell. She was in a space for 2 minutes and she was already trying to be the dictator. Holy shit.
No, it's like the funniest thing is like almost 200,000 people are listening, you know? 200,000 people are listening. And she's trying to...
throw a fit.
That's
Crazy.
It feels like how the Assad regime went out, actually.
She'd be like,
In this octagon, I'm the boss.
and then rage quit.
God,
Hilarious.
man.
She
What
is
a joke. That's Bashar al-Assad's strongest soldier right there, man. That's his strongest soldier. Jesus Christ.
Jackson Hinkle is...
Oh
That's
my
Russia.
God, that fucking... God, bro. I can't wait until someone
for
fucking
him from
smokes him.
America. Yeah.
He's probably...
I tried to-
he's probably like Fed, right? Or maybe like CIA or something. It's like
No,
no way.
he's,
Like,
I legitimately believe that he's 100% paid Russian op.
He
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like...
He's too comfortable lying.
that's the standards, you know? That's the baseline. It's like... But like maybe he's like a double agent. I don't know. It's like
He's just that
a
shitty.
triple agent.
It's probably good.
But
It probably is.
But boys, the fucking Turkish MIT's cyber attacking my internet because they don't want the truth to come out. So I'm gonna have to jump off, but it's been fun, man. I'll definitely jump on the next stream.
Is that British internet
next Sunday
coming
we'll
back
see you.
to kill us?
Let's go.
Have a nice evening.
Boom, gone.
Goodbye.
Anyway, ready for dark.
I like my suitcase.
Let's go. All right, what do we? So okay, give me a breakdown of this prison because I actually have never heard of this prison before.
Saidnaya.
Saidnaya, you might be able to read about it on New York Times, though the pictures are not great because you'll see satellite photos of it. Every like few weeks there'd be satellite photos of dozens of people killed lying on the ground outside of the prison.
Oh,
yeah, you can see them
Okay.
from space.
cool. Okay. That okay. Let's go.
So I mean,
And
what
the
exactly is the prison, though? Like,
regime
it's a
prison.
prison, but what makes it special?
It's the worst prison in Syria. And that's saying something. It's like Holocaust level torture inside, mutilations, like
Apparently, the architect of the
methods
prison
of torture you
was
cannot even imagine.
Nazis. Did we
What was
hear
that, John?
before? The architect of the prison is associated with the Nazis,
Oh my god.
according to the source that chat sent.
Well, Baathism is Arab National
Baathism doesn't
Socialism.
exist anymore.
It's dead,
now.
baby. It's gone. You know what? You know what I'm very disappointed about though? We didn't get a Mussolini photo from him.
Not
we haven't
hey,
got one.
not
And
yet.
we might
yet.
not get one, but there's still a chance.
Like I said, you gotta stay
It's still a
consistent with people who've
chance.
dropped sarin.
All right. So
Okay, so where do we want to start here? What's the first thing we want to talk about? You know, so it's got a Soviet style design. You know, so
Depends.
it's actually,
Like
it's actually
before we
taking time
start,
to
like,
clear.
is it like what's the level of gore, like you can.
I try to avoid
like.
Wait,
gore,
you
but
can
anything you can
can
send
talk
me
about it.
anything you want.
Hold on.
You can talk about it, but you can't. It's hard to show it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I'm
Okay.
check
Like
YouTube. Maybe I can make the stream a certain setting that might be able to keep it safe.
be careful with gore because it's.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah,
only
yeah.
thing.
Well, I didn't save anything that is gore.
Yeah. But continue. I'll just do that.
But you can talk about it like verbal communication is like
yes, you can
no
describe some stuff.
not
Yeah, it's fine.
restricted. Okay.
We're not monetized, so we don't have to worry about that. And the only thing we have to worry about is actual bans, which is why the terrorist material, gore, that can get us in trouble. But that's about it. You can say whatever you want.
I mean, it does have a content warning on the actual live stream.
Yeah, that's why I put it there.
Yeah.
So, is there something you wanted to
البوادق
say?
العلوية تم إطلاق سراحهم
Oh no, I
ولكن
don't want
الأهالي
audio. Stop it. I just wanted to show Al Jazeera reporting from inside. No, it's tourists here with their kids. And like, you know,
very cool.
This is how shitty this guy was.
Why is there a restream thing in the description?
I didn't put it there. Maybe it was left over from something. Maybe they auto put it in there.
Cheeky cunts.
Anyway. Alan, did you have something that you wanted to talk about specifically here?
Who, me?
Yeah, because you were asking about what you can talk about.
No, it's to be honest with you, it's like bringing some type of bad memories. I've never been into the prison, but I've seen it from the distance and the stories I've heard from people who've been there. I've told you a story before the stream. Maybe I would retell it. And
if you would like to, it's up to you.
Yeah, it's one of like a friend of mine. I've met him in Turkey, and we were in an opposition house, like everybody in the apartment was a big apartment, and everybody in the apartment was like working for the opposition Syrian, like official Syrian opposition, and some like Kurdish side also, because there was like communication between both. And I wasn't working with them. I was working with Vice News at the time, but I was just living in the apartment. They were friends of mine. And we had guests like every time, every week or like month we had guests. And somebody came who was in Saydnaya. He told me a story. He was in Saydnaya for 3 years. And he told me first thing he got out of prison, he couldn't talk for an entire month because he was in shock of like brutal torture. You can't imagine like the level of torture. He couldn't talk for 1 month. He was in shock, and he showed me his the marks on his
quieter.
body.
Sorry.
Sorry, Jack. I could hear Jack's keyboard. Keep going.
Oh yeah. He had like imagine if you have like a metal rod, like what you used to hang clothes with, and this metal rod is very hot. Like you light it up with fire and stuff like that, and it's like red burning red hot. And they used to like a
wire, hot wire wrapped around
wire
him.
on his hand, yeah. And that's like they did it for his entire body, like legs, stomach, like he was like a zebra, it's like a burned zebra. And it wasn't like just burns or scars, it was like really burned into the skin, like there was like you can feel it with your hand, like it was big, it's like in his entire body like that. And he told me stories about how people committed suicide, like they had like creative ways of committing suicide in the prison. One guy ran in the hole, and he ran, and then he ran as fast as he can, and he hit his head against the wall, and that's why he killed himself. and some people, like there's many brutal ways of torture. They used to tie people's penises, like really tie them and force them to drink water, lots of water, lots and lots of water, and then like it will stay tied for 3 days, and then their bladder will explode. It's like Holocaust levels of torture. I've read some books about the Holocaust. I know what they did in the Holocaust, the brutal torture in operations, and like human experiments also on bodies. Like they used to, man, I really don't want to like spoil some moods here. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry about this. But like they used to like open children's body and brains. That's also like documented about the Holocaust. The doctors were experimenting with different body parts. It's like they stop this side, and like without anesthesia, and see how the kids will react to like the experiments on the brains and the bodies and stuff like that. And it was like that level of torture, And it's like there's, I don't know, there's levels, there's even levels I really don't want to say, but since like for the integrity of the subject, I feel obligated to say it. They like cut off people's balls and like put it in their mouths, and there's like lots of stuff in it, like taking girls like 10-year-old, 12-year-olds and gang rape them in front of their parents. It's like Syrian government, it was a brutal government. It was like really like the most tyrannical government.
And this is under Bashar, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just clarifying that when we're talking about under Bashar, not his dad.
Well, it happened in both times. Bashar al-Assad is like a successor of his father, in many ways. And wait 1 week, just wait 1 week, and you will read the stories that will be on everywhere, like stories about what happened in Saydnaya. You will just read it like in Washington Post and New York Times and The Guardian. All of this will come out very soon. What happens in like inside the like in those places? It's like imagine hell. Like imagine hell. Try to imagine hell. And
well, that's a
worse
great
than hell.
analogy, because I was going to say it literally is like hell. Like there's layers to it. So like one of the things that you see here is there's 3 floors underground, and they couldn't even get into this place. They literally had to take demolition equipment and break through the concrete to get into this area.
Yeah. It is very, it's like levels, it's actually it's like very like impressive level of psychopathy. It's you have to like people who like did those stuff, like tortured people to that level, like they have to be experimented on to like understand like to which level like the human condition can fall into. It's like I understand like cognitively some people don't process emotions because that region in the brain simply doesn't function. It simply doesn't function. So they don't process it. They don't process pain. They really don't understand human emotions because it's like it's like condition. It's like whoa, man, like how deep can this shit go? And it's like I don't know.
I think you might be pulling up a video of some of the toddlers who were in the prison also.
Well, that's what I was going to get to if we wanted to talk about that as well. But I also wanted to just quickly comment on this right here. So hundreds of the Palestinians were imprisoned in this prison. So Mr. Pro-Palestine Assad himself, don't forget what he was doing to Palestinians as well.
Yeah,
this is not just
he
Syrians
actually
who were
killed a lot of
suffering.
Palestinians. There is a massacre called Mukhayyam al-Yarmouk massacre. Mukhayyam al-Yarmouk is a place where Palestinians lived. It's a neighborhood in Damascus. and he killed, like he tortured people in Mukhayyam al-Yarmouk. There's pictures like.
So I'm trying to find the specific video that was showing a bunch of kids in there, but this is the most famous image right here. You know, this has been going around just, no, not that one. Didn't copyright. God damn it.
That might be one of them.
Boom, there we go. Did you send me something?
No,
in
that's
private. Where?
No, you're right. That's it.
Yeah, I was just trying to pull it up. So, what are children doing in the prison? Okay, this is something that's not really being talked about. Okay, and I want to be as respectfully as possible to the victims here. These children were born in this prison. Women in this prison had multiple children with them. All of the children were born inside the prison. So you can fill in the blanks on what that means. They don't know who these children's fathers are, but they had them inside the prison. And these children were made to suffer inside this prison. You know, you could say what was their crime, but like, what was anyone's crime to be in here?
This prison is designed to be a systemic fear-mongering tool. And that's why they released some people. Like the guy I told you about, they released these people to talk about what they saw, you know? Because if they don't release these people who saw the level of horror in Saidnaya, then it's like, who will know the level of the horror, you know?
And to be clear here, the people here weren't rebels, right? They're not like fighters.
Yeah, some of these people had been in there for like 30 years.
40 years.
40 years, 50 years.
One person was in prison
long.
for 40 years because he refused to bomb Hama during the Hama massacre the year before the other Hama massacre. These aren't rebels. They're not fighters. They're just people, right? The rebels and fighters were mostly executed, which is another huge problem. But there's just no justification for this. You can't even like put a fig leaf on this. This is just a fucking crime.
And there are people who are pro this guy. Isn't that fucking crazy? There are people who support this guy. Still support this fucking guy and his regime. Isn't that crazy? How?
Worse, it's not even just Alawites trying to keep on to their little clinging bits of power. It's the fucking pieces of shit Western hangers-on who've been whitewashing his atrocities.
Like Parmesan girl.
Gray zone.
Parmesan girl is insane, but like the Western campists, like the tankies.
Aaron fucking Mate. Richie fucking Medhurst. These people. Right?
I don't understand that.
I think we discussed it. I think we've discussed this with you before, Alan. That all these fucking people, right? You can name them. Everybody knows who they are, yet somehow they continue to stay in the media, in the spotlight. Like, why? So now that Assad is gone, do you think these people will retain their positions, or do you think they're going to fade away?
Well, it depends.
Assad wasn't the one paying them.
Exactly.
Yeah, Assad was maybe, like, think about that. It's Assad maybe was never paying them. Maybe it was Russia who was paying them.
And Iran.
It's like, and Iran. I think Russia was really extremely successful with their like right wing, and also at the same time extreme left wing. Like not extreme left wing because we are extreme left wing, but it's no like the bell. It's like what's that theory? Like the
horseshoe theory.
The horseshoe theory. It's like real. And when I read the comments of campists, I see them like I read some comments today, like campists saying it's the problem with Syrians are their aggressive culture. They needed Assad to like suppress them, and
my
these
God.
people like really they think they really think they're leftist. They think that they're against imperialism in the United States. Motherfucker, we're all against imperialism in the United States, but we don't like go worshiping Russia, and you can be against both. And
imagine being the person saying the savages just need to be civilized. Imagine being that person
and then saying you're left wing. Stop. Not music. I mute it beforehand, and then I switch the tab, and it puts it with audio. Like Twitter's UI sucks.
Yeah, but like imagine being that person and saying you're left wing. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, John, they will double down, I think, for a while. But you can't like say anything. Like you have to wait. I think you have to at least wait 6 months to see what happens with their opinions. Because if Syria stayed the same shitty situation, like a civil war erupts again, we have to wait. Like if it goes well, then they will like all of them will like, yeah, we knew Assad was shit, It's,
imagine if everyone just comes together and goes, well, last like decade and a half was pretty shit. Let's not do that again.
He wasn't well liked.
Like
by anyone, really.
Like that's a very big possibility that people are just like, you know what? Fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck that guy. Let's not do that
like
again.
Even like in the strongholds. Well, that's another thing too, is like the only thing holding him up was the drug dealing. And so like that's
fear.
All the economically, like if without the drugs there wouldn't be enough fear, there would be nothing for him to stand on. But like Jordan has bombed Syria. Like part of integrating and accepting Assad back has been dismantling the drug operations there. Like the entire Arab world fucking hates him because he manufactures the Captagon flooding into their countries.
The what?
The jihadi meth.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like Yaba. It's like a methamphetamine pill.
Interesting.
Yeah, the synthol militias are the ones who make it in Syria.
No shit. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, look it up. Look up Captagon trade. Look up a map. You'll see how much it's spread.
This is why I leave this shit to you.
man. 80 billion.
8 billion pills.
It's a 80 billion industry, mate. Like a yearly 80 billions.
Phenylethylamine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a type of, it's basically meth in pill form.
Psychostimulant. Interesting. Primary for
but it's like
actually, I remember being in Damascus, and
wow.
It's really like the capital of drugs. It's like you have every type of drug. It's very cheap.
Like
80%.
Orders from the Jordan police, just like cutting open all these bundles and all the Caesars, and they're shipping containers full of this shit that they're just laying out daily. That's just what they're capturing, every day. Crazy. Shipping containers full.
Well, it says 80% is made in Syria. Global market worth $6 billion. So they're getting 80% of $6 billion a year.
Yep,
that's a lot of money.
And Jordan and Saudi authorities aren't even catching most of it. They're picking up most of it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that's just what they're stopping. There's so much more. But that could disappear. That industry could disappear now. That's huge. Like
this is I was just sort of fucking around talking with my mate as just kind of spitballing a little bit, and I was like, this could be massive. Like this really genuinely could be massive. Like if the Kurds retain control of the Rojava area and even like could extend over to Aleppo. I'm not sure what might happen with Aleppo. I'm not sure about the history of Aleppo, but maybe giving the northern sector to the Kurds wouldn't be an awful idea to sort of
we imagine that's what's going to happen.
Split the country. So like, and this is just what I was spitballing. You mentioned giving autonomy to the Alawites, which we were talking about with Russia. I found out that Russia's been exodusing the port.
Yeah, they're flying shit out right now.
So they're getting out of that port, which means they're gone. Russia's out. Russia's gone.
Well, I think they're going to keep the port. I think that's part of it. The reason why they pulled back from their positions and allowed the rebel forces to advance is because the rebels were like, "Yeah, you can keep the port. Like this guy's bad for you too. Like, what are you getting from Assad? Like you can still work out of this port. We don't care. You can keep your bases."
Apparently, he and his family are in Russia. That's what I saw on ground news. So
yeah, Assad.
He's the only refugee now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody can come back to Syria. Well, that's another question.
Syrian now.
And then like maybe
I will come
forces, back. Maybe the rebel forces, hold the positions they have. Maybe they clash with Israel over the Golan Heights, right?
I mean, Israel's already bombed them. I'm not sure if you saw this, but we talked about this in the first half. Israel is doing a heavy offensive into HTS positions right now.
They didn't even wait a week or 2 weeks. Jesus Christ.
They just can't fucking help themselves, can they? Okay.
Nope.
So and if the refugees came back, Germany will be very pissed. Imagine like a scenario, like a fictional scenario where like lots of countries, maybe the Arabian Gulf, invest in Syria, and lots of other countries invest in Syria, and actually peace happens because everybody is now smart and they understand like they don't want to fight anymore. Julani is peaceful and stuff, and like lots of variables happen. Like let's imagine like happens, then it's like very bad for some European countries because Germany will literally say like we've spent billions of people, like billions and billions to educate them, to like to give them like support and stuff like that. We wanted them to work for us and like support us and stuff like that, and now like 2 million are going back.
And you know what?
Germany's already having major issues.
But that's also potentially actually going to be good because it's going to be it's like a direct cash injection of that German currency is going to go right into Syria.
Exactly.
Right, and then those people are likely going to be citizens in many cases.
I think I'm not trying to impose on what Alan's. I think Alan's pointing out that Syrians make up like I don't know about probably like between I don't have the
minority.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers in front of me. It's like 3 to 5% of Germany's workforce, right? I'm not sure why. Europe is pathologically racist. Sorry, I'm just saying it.
Yeah,
but
someone had to.
These are employees that the German and European economy is going to be surprised that it can't really afford to lose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like they're doing the dirty work, working in restaurant, clean and stuff like that. And it's like the same scenario, like with the like the I don't know, Mexican or like the immigrants in the United States, like the people doing the agricultural farming.
Yeah, picking fruit and shit.
You can't
operate.
You can't function. You can't function without them. Like Americans will not go and pick apples. They will not do that. Americans will not go work in restaurants and stuff like that. They will not. They will starve before doing that.
And you know what this is? This is and it, as easy as it is to say it's capitalism, it's not. It kind of is, but it's more the capitalist systems within these countries being like, well, we put money into you. Don't go back to your country that you came from out of desperation, right? Where realistically, this should be the long-term goal for refugees, for the most part, right? Is if your country is in crisis to the point that you have to leave, and the guy who's making that country shit is gone, you should want those refugees to go back to that country to repopulate it and restore the country. Because not only have they left their country, which realistically is because they could afford it, or they've done everything and spent everything they have to get out of that country, right? So you've got like the rich or smart people who are able to get the money out of the country first. Then you have the people who get out later because they're, they grind to get out because it's out of desperation, right? So you've got all that I think, what do they call it? Brain drain, right?
Mhm.
You put that back into the country, and you've got Western education now. Boom. You have just escalated that country levels, decades of development in instantly.
It is good for Syria, but it's not good for Germany. It's
and this is why I'm saying it's like the capitalist nature of these countries is why, but this should be the goal.
Yeah, but it isn't. It's like you're correct. It should be like the priority of the moral priority, but it doesn't function like that. And it's even if AfD like let's imagine AfD takes control over Germany because of the election that will happen in 3 months, I think. Even if AfD take control, right? Nobody will get deported because you need everybody. You need every single person. Like remember, you guys remember when that Afghani guy killed the German cop a few months ago? Yeah, everybody was saying like, send all the refugees out, and motherfucker, the cop who killed the Afghani guy was a Turkish immigrant. Okay, he was a Muslim. The nurse who like treated the injured cop who died was like a Muslim woman with hijab. Like everybody is like who will you deport? Like
it doesn't make any
who are you getting
sense.
rid of?
It's reverse
Actually,
Mao,
my brother,
it's killing all the farmers, getting all the landlords in, pro landlord, anti farmer, right? That's how it works.
It's fucking hilarious. Like my brother is a nurse, and he works like in a nursery home for the elderly, and he tells me like I've seen old people like 90 years old and 80 years old like who really doesn't want any contact with him because he's Syrian. They don't want to put him in the diaper and stuff like that. And then my brother has to call the other nurse who's like German, and and like
old habits die hard.
Will right. They want to die. So they don't care.
Yeah, well, there's a thing that people say here where a white man will shit his own pants to make a black man smell it. But I just wanted to say, when you look at refugee stuff, you'll see so many UN NGOs, all these different things for assisting refugees. Can you name an organization
to repatriate them?
them?
Fifth gen.
That's what they,
Well,
that's what they,
wait.
That's what they need,
Are we going with the?
There probably is one.
There are a few, but they're essentially just neo-Nazis. I'm sorry.
Okay, there you go. I'm sure there are some.
Like the Center for Immigration Studies in the U.S., right? Run by an Armenian American dude. He's never seen a Latino he likes. Just dickheads, right? These aren't people who are working in the best interest of either the American people or the American people who or racist people might associate with being American or immigrants, right? They just want to like kick out anybody, actually everybody, who is not from the U.S. before an arbitrary timestamp of like 1950.
Bro is
Just real
Armenian,
quick,
you said.
Before we get away from the prison, I just wanted to show one more thing about it.
It's not just
control
Armenians.
center.
Yeah. Yo,
Oh.
Panopticon.
Just before we get away
You
from
people
that,
have like
that's like
worms in your brain, honestly.
You are garbage, okay? You're garbage.
Awful people.
Armenians are great, just not him.
No, I mean fucking supremacists. Just people like that in general.
That voice clip, that soundbite from Anna
Kasparian.
Man, Anna Kasparian is officially right wing now. I saw her interview with Piers Morgan.
Yeah.
that was like really like Dave Rubin levels of stupidity.
She's seen the money. She's like, oh my god, they were paid millions of dollars by Russia for grifting. My turn.
Sign me in. Man, it's really impressive. It's really impressive how stupid Dave Rubin is. Like it's like really I think
It
about
is.
it
Yeah,
often.
him
Like
specifically.
how can a human be that stupid? Like how is it physically possible? I don't know. It's too bad he blocked me, motherfucker.
He blocked you.
It's really hilarious.
I was very excited. I got a senator in Australia to block me. I called him a British politician. He didn't like that. Dude, I think what happened is he posted something about Newcastle, but didn't realize it was Newcastle in the UK, not Newcastle in Australia. It was very funny. As soon as I realized that, I just lost my shit. Either way,
can you pin John? Can you pin the comment from Calvin 1699?
Because either way,
Jack
right?
might be able to.
I got it.
Not
you
all
can see his
mine show
post
up
again
on this
because
chat.
Elon.
I got it.
They moved the block.
Just a fun fact for our Mediterranean friends. The definition of white has actually it originates from the U.S. essentially, and you weren't white until like the 1950s. You were white after black people got the right
Benjamin
to vote.
Franklin was like, we got to keep those Germans out.
Yeah,
they'll ruin our white culture.
Actually, this is a very interesting theme. You know, in the United States, like understanding of white is very different from like European understanding of white. Like in Europe, I'm definitely not white. Like I'm Middle Eastern. I look Middle Eastern in Europe. But if I go to the United States,
like
maybe
legally,
I'm white. You know, it's like
not just maybe. Like technically, by census data, you're counted as white, right? So this is it's a funny, not really funny. It's more stupid misconception.
It is funny. No, it is funny too.
There have been Middle Eastern people in the U.S. for like that since basically the U.S.'s founding, I guess.
Well,
but they all get counted as white. So
the Iranians are the real Aryans, right?
Man, I was going to say that it's the same word. You know what Iran means? Iran means noble, and Aryan is noble, like pure blood, noble. It's
Interesting.
Like it's your motherfucker. Like the
Don't tell
Nazis stole
Pega.
that from Iran.
I made one
like
Aryan
Nazi
joke
saying,
and she lost her
I'm
mind.
Iranian.
But like, okay, so let's talk about the possibility of like real change in the region. What happens if Netanyahu, someone does the job that people have not done for a year? Netanyahu is done for, and the Islamic regime also falls. What happens?
I don't even necessarily think you have to topple Iran, right? Everybody likes to paint the Iranians as the big bad guy because they
but we want them to fall so they can go as well.
we can sort of just politically pressure them into being normal, right? The Iranians are willing to talk.
Yeah, that is true.
Likud is fucking not, right? They're psychotic. not Israel as a whole, right? This is specifically Likud and the far right parties that make up its coalition.
There's not many regime loyalists in Iran compared.
Yeah, like Likud, because it's been in power for like 20 years, they've drastically altered Israel's education system to the point where, I mean, even most American Jews who are very pro-Israel will probably show up and think, wait, you guys learned this, right? It is just...
It's that bad?
Yeah, it's batshit insane.
Damn. I didn't know that.
Actually, that's partially why most of the pressure in the U.S. right now against Israel isn't coming from Arab or Muslim Americans. It's coming from Jewish Americans.
Interesting.
Okay.
They're a bit sick of
that makes sense,
focus, I guess.
If
non-recyclable.
Yeah, that is paper though.
Yeah, but for the
joke,
very good.
You should be recycling the cardboard.
It's funnier if you put him in the bin that says non-recyclable.
I know, but it's more economically or environmentally sustainable to recycle the cardboard.
It's recyclable. You know, there's a very good James. There's a very good book about this theme. About it's called Jewish Fetishism. It's written by a Jewish lady. Her name is Deborah. Like you can Google it. Jewish Fetishism. Juden fetish in German. I think I read it in German. I don't know if there is an English version. I think there should be an English version. I'm not sure.
It's a risky title to put in Germany.
Yeah, and she's Jewish. She talks about how Germany really likes to review Jewish people in a certain lens. You know.
Wonder
It's
why.
like, remember when Trump called like
what happened?
Yeah, it's a philo-Semitism.
I remember what's the guy named Schumer. He called Schumer Schumer is becoming Palestinian.
Yes, he called Chuck Schumer Palestinian. Yeah,
that's funny.
And yeah, it's that like you if you're Jewish, you can't be against Israel. You have to be this exact type of Jewish. And she has like a very, very good analysis. She's like very intellectual Jewish writer, and you like her book is very good. Did you find
what's her name?
Her name is Deborah.
How do you
Her
spell
book is like Jewish Fetish.
Yeah, I mean, if you type that in on Google,
you get a lot.
She was like, I don't know. She went with that.
Deborah Feldman. Is it Unorthodox? It might be the English title. Unorthodox, but Deborah Feldman.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, Deborah Feldman. No, Unorthodox is her other book. She wrote like. Unorthodox is one of her books. It's her old book. Her new book is Jewish Fetishism. I think it's correct that there is no English version yet. She wrote it in German.
Rude.
Yeah, it's published by Munich in 2023. Luchterhand Verlag in Munich 2023. Might have to do some not legal things and then translate it.
Not legal is good.
Yeah. No, just wait for the English version.
Imagine gatekeeping information. What a cunt.
This is the one thing where I fully agree with the Russian government on. Pirate everything.
Well, we do officially endorse. The only political party we officially endorse is the Pirate Party.
You know, it's like one of the most annoying things. Like you have like amazing book, like a really analytical, brilliant book, and you search for it, and it's like $80.
Yeah.
Yep.
The motherfucker.
My favorite one is $80 is absurd. My favorite one is textbooks being like $150. You use them for 6 months.
Oh
yeah, I never bought. I think I bought textbooks my first semester, and then never bought a single one for any other semester. But I just did like community college, you know.
Yeah. Like the worst one is going like looking for information and then coming up against an information wall block from an academic source. Yeah. Cheers, cunts. Great
know,
help.
right?
Ooh,
I mean,
wait,
that's why we are all about.
Very cool.
Ravi, can I send you I can send you the. Actually, I just downloaded it. I'm sorry. It's
you wouldn't steal a car.
Raven, I'll send you a link to it. Message me on Twitter.
Post it in our Discord.
Analytica Camelus. Ooh, yes, and the Discord.
True deal.
Academia is having major problems right now. Like extreme problems.
Don't worry. Pirating won't hurt academia. It mostly hurts book publishers who are dickheads.
Publishers. Yeah.
And academic journalist publishers, mostly the big ones like Elsevier, who are also dickheads.
I will say this: the only good thing that academic journals, like publishing journals, do is they do have a standard and do weed out dumb shit. Like they do, for the most part, weed out bad science. And then sometimes it gets through, but most of the time it gets caught because people will publish more things saying this is horseshit, which is how it's supposed to be. That's the only thing that I can sort of justify paying for. However, I would not. If I had academic access, I would download them all and publish them for free.
You know, I have
remember Ace did get us that big index.
Yes, he did.
I never looked at it, but hey.
I have another metrics for deciding to like pay money for the book or not. If the writer is alive, you pay for the book. If the writer is dead, you pirate it.
That's such a good thing. That's such a good person thing to do.
Yeah, it's like dude died 100 years ago, and I'm supposed to like pay $25 for his book. I'm not doing that.
It is funny.
We were talking about this earlier, but here's Barzani.
Barzani, yeah.
Like, you know, meeting
Actually,
with Trump and all these fucks.
Where's the link to the Discord?
Barzani's not.
Ravi, post the link. Do it now. Do it right now. Okay, back to Iran.
If you have a very, very good reason to speak with him, I can connect you. But like, it has to be like really, 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 really good reason. Otherwise, I can't like burn that line.
Fair enough.
Wait, which person?
On the left.
Oh shit!
Like the president of Kurdistan.
You know him?
I don't.
Well,
I don't.
He's meeting with Trump in Paris. That's what we were talking about it earlier. So he's meeting with Trump, and he met with Elon Musk and stuff at the little. Here's him with Trump in the beginning here. Macron is explaining who he is to Trump. You can tell in this clip.
Yeah. That's actually what happened. Exactly.
At least he's a billionaire.
He's like, what?
He's very rich, a billionaire.
Aren't they always? This is Mr. Good.
What? Mr. Trump, this is Mr. Kurd.
Jesus.
Okay. Anything else we want to touch on today? Any questions that we'll wrap up with here?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm just waiting for chat to type any last questions. So
I mean, we could continue talking about like Iran and shit, and
if you want to talk a little about Iran.
I mean, we can talk what we were talking about before. We got sidetracked like 4 different times. Like what's the potential of the Middle East seeing some kind of peace through Assad going, and theoretically Netanyahu?
Oh wait, what is Isab one? Oh, sorry.
That's a big ask.
That's a good two questions. We'll answer Jack's first, and then Azab's. Ask your question, Azab. Sorry, I'm taking over.
Go.
That's a wild question, man. That's like really like even God doesn't know what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but theoretically,
as like Egypt and Iran are the most at risk, but then even then, Assad's the one who fell.
No, because we answered this question also at the start of the stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
we talked about the Israel stuff and
okay. Because you were always saying that it would be Iran first. Your prediction was Iran.
Nah, I think Iran will be next. I think that's the safest bet, but still, it could be any time.
Wasn't the safest bet. Syria was first. So what happens?
Yeah,
if
but that
you
doesn't mean that
still...
Iran's not the safest bet.
I know, but what happens if if you're correct and Iran does fall? What happens?
Actually,
What's
my money's on
Egypt
Pakistan.
Is the other one.
Iran has its problems, but like it's relatively stable, right? It has its sectarian tensions, but even Iranian Kurds think they're Iranians first. Enough of them to make it difficult for like separatist movements.
Even in Rojava, they recognize that they're part of Syria.
Yes, but it's like whichever part you put first in the with the acronym name, right? Are you Kurdish Syrian or Syrian Kurdish? Kurds are Kurdish Syrian mostly. Iraqi Kurds are Kurdish Iraqi, but Iranian Kurds are mostly Iranian Kurdish. If that makes sense.
That's funny. I would consider the preface the lesser.
Well, that's not important. What is important is that out of the 4 regions of Kurdistan, the Iranian section is by far the most impoverished, and so you also have the lowest literacy rates there as well.
But that's also kind of just Iran.
It's actually very interesting because they're willing to suffer more hardships because Iran and Persian, Iran, Kurdish, they're the same group basically. Like Turkish and Kurdish are completely different, and Arabic and Kurdish are completely different. But Iran and Kurdish are the same people. Like basically, they separated like thousands of years ago, but both acknowledge that there is the same family. If that makes sense, it's like it's like an ethnic thing.
It's
I can understand Persian because I understand Kurdish. But like if I don't understand Turkish because I understand Kurdish, and I don't understand. I speak Arabic because I was born in Syria, and I like we have to speak it like a governmental official language, so you learn it as a mother language. But if that wasn't the case, like I would not know any word of Arabic. Like completely different culture.
Nah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like so and different. Like Persian is like I can learn Persian in 3 months because it's like very similar to Kurdish.
Okay, James, the question has been asked.
Oh, that's I can sort of answer this one pretty instantaneously. The Burkinabe government or Burkina Faso's government is a fucking train wreck, right? They're going neck and neck with al-Qaeda in the Sahel. Al-Qaeda and ISIS's factions in the Sahel for massacring civilians. They honestly, they are probably the second lowest hanging fruit after the Syrian government for the broader jihadist coalition to take over. They would probably be in front of Pakistan if Burkina Faso weren't so far away from the core of their strength. Mali is less problematic, right? Because its government's a junta, but it's not like foaming at the mouth crazy.
Did you say Pakistan?
Big Pakistan great!
Oh, that's the next one to fall. That's the thing. That would mean Pakistan has something to fall from. That's why I don't say Pakistan. I'm sorry, but it's just there's not a regime there.
Did you answer the question of how minor is like Israel as an actor in Syria?
Oh yeah. That's what I want to get to that next, right? They were completely not basically. They were essentially irrelevant within the context of Syria until like yesterday. They only really had relationships with Kurdistan, business relationships, not like military.
Yeah,
ones.
oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Israel is I think right now they're one of the four main players, regional. Like one of the four main players, not only regional. That's the main players are Turkey, it's number one, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now, because the United States are becoming more and more isolationist, and Trump really doesn't want to do anything in that region. And also there is like backdoor secret relationship, I think, between, like we've talked about in the beginning of the stream, between Erdogan and Trump. So it only depends on how smart Erdogan is and how depends on what his plans are for the region, like stable or not. It's very dependent. It depends on many variables, like within the Turkish political government and like the relationship between them and the Kurdish factions. And Turkey is the number one player. Israel is number two. And like Israel and US, like basically 2 and 3, but it's like the same play basically. And the fourth player is, I think, Iran is out, Iraq is in. Yeah, it's like,
Iran
did
is
you see
pretty
like
weak right now.
Iraq has like really like strong stance on the situation.
They saw the conversation.
What do you think Israel's specific goals are? If we're talking about the bombing campaigns that they've done, as I've said, they haven't really fucked with Assad because Assad doesn't hit back. The things that they've bombed are like air defense stuff that we've seen. So they're hitting a lot of captured targets that they knew already existed under the Syrian regime. Because they don't want them in enemy hands.
Actually, with respect to Israel, we should probably parse out what Likud. Fair enough, but we should probably parse out what Likud wants and what the Israeli establishment wants, right? Because the Israeli military and not necessarily the Foreign Affairs Department, right? They are pretty like deep throating when it comes to Likud. They are kind of stupid. Sorry. No offense. Offense intended.
Fuck 'em.
The Israeli military is a solidly professional along West. Okay, well, Israeli military leadership is solidly professional along the Western mold, right? And they don't quite. They are perfectly cognizant. They and Mossad are cognizant of the number of emerging and just very real threats around Israel. They don't quite see them all because they're not that bright. Neither is the U.S. security establishment. But that's, again, nobody's fault. Everybody's people. It's fine. But they want to secure their borders in a sort of narrow operational and strategic sense, right? They want to keep everybody else away. They think they're playing, I guess, essentially a giant game of keep away in the English language sense. Likud is expansionist, essentially. They would
Greater Israel.
Greater Israel. They would happily take large chunks of Golan, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, all Sinai. They genuinely want to push the state of Israel, not just the state of Israel. They don't really, I guess the state of Israel, because they don't really care about the people of Israel. Just putting it bluntly, they want to push its borders as far as they possibly can get.
Yeah, and it's one of the main factors is Netanyahu attacked Lebanon. One of his main goals, like not the main like the main goal, but one of his main goals is to escape prosecution in Israel. So the war in Lebanon helped him a lot, and now the Lebanon war is over, so he will be like very happy if there's like a new front in Syria happens, because he's not, I don't think he's pragmatic. He's not really like a straight thinker. I think he's like lost the plot. I think he will be prosecuted potentially, and the next election in Israel, it's like the 100% Likud will not be in power.
Yeah, that's why he's
I don't
trying.
know which parties.
This isn't just not. It's not just Alan thinking this. By the way, the U.S. government thinks this. Everybody, Israel's own negotiators think this. Europe, all of Europe thinks this. Rather, all of Europe's governments. People have sort of different opinions. They don't quite know the whole picture, I guess. Bibi's scrambling to stay out of jail. Initially, they were afraid to think that, like 3 months or 4 months into the war in Gaza, right? They thought he was trying to work in Israel's best interest, doing his own special way. But after he rejected ever so many ceasefire agreements or ever so many hostage negotiation agreements, they're like, oh, wow, this piece of shit really just doesn't want to go to jail. So
Go to
Street jail for you.
One of the like, don't think about it right now, but think about it in maybe 2 years. It will like start like really. You will see the contrast in politics, because right now it's like completely different. Like right now there's a big fog and everybody's trying to see what will happen, and it's like very big mystery. It's like you don't understand the vibes, you don't understand the situation in Syria and the regions, and like everybody has an opinion. Iraq also, even Iraq, I'm surprised. Like it's been like 2 months, and I'm very surprised by like the Iraqi stance on the situation. It's like they're really like starting to take a position even against Iran. I don't know. It's like they kind of understand the vibes, the regional vibes. They knew that Iran will be out, so now they want their own like being in the area. And I think they will make peace with Israel 100%. And I think Israel, not not only Netanyahu's party, but I think like the smart people in Israel understand this, understand that the countries around them, they want peace right now. They will make peace happen. Jordan really desperately wants peace. Even Syria will make peace, and Lebanon definitely wants peace. It's what will happen right now. It will shift, because all of these decades, like the previous decades since the 50s, there was a potential. There was a very big potential of like integrating Israel with the Arab states, but they didn't want that. They want instability. They really wanted instability, because the most important region in the world, not right now, but like back then in the 50s until the 90s maybe, it was Kuwait, Bahrain, the Arabian Gulf, like all the 80%, I think, of the like the Gulf states, like, and you need that region. You need it 100%. You need it for all of that gas and oil, like 80% of the world supplies, right? And you fucking need it. So you have to make instability. You have to make it very painful for the residents. You have to prevent them from gaining power. You have to divide and conquer and blah blah blah. But now there's like a really, really major shift in the world right now. Everybody is having existential crisis. Oil is becoming less and less important. It's still important, but it's getting less and less important. And now Israel will understand that they have to shift from divide and conquer to actually make stability. You won't see it right now, but you will see it over the next 5 to 10 years, I think. But that's like the main objective right now, because like logically you cannot have peace in Israel. You cannot have stability in Israel. Israel will 100% collapse. They cannot continue that way, and they will lose support of the United States in 15 years, 20 years max, like absolute max, if like the wildest thing happens. But after that, like, how could you ensure the existence of Israel in that region? You cannot, like, if you don't have peace and stability, by then it will simply not exist. I think it's like they understand this now, so they will shift to it.
Okay.
And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
First Turkish bot in chat.
Oh wait. Fuck. Ibrahim Traore.
Not a first time chatter though.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Guys
Sorry.
are kind of real. Fuck. Ibrahim Traore is kind of a dickhead. Yeah, I think I think that's fair to say. He's got a lot of aura, right? Obviously, because look, he's literally Scarface. I mean, come on. But his government has just been massacring civilians. I think I might have mentioned this earlier, but it's just it's hard to tell whether he's actually worse than al-Qaeda or not, right? Even after one particularly egregious massacre, al-Qaeda came out with a statement and said, "Hey, that wasn't us. That was fucked up." Like, do you know how bad something has to be for al-Qaeda to say, "Yeah, fuck, that was not us"? Quite bad, actually. Even ISIS didn't try to claim credit.
Okay. So just
Actually,
to
for live UA map, you can just select regions. I think there's a whole Sahel region.
well, we'll do a Sahel stream some other time.
Fair
But
fair enough.
I just wanted to. I don't know how old this is, but this was posted not that long ago, and it says the rebels are still struggling to get through the prison. So there's still areas of the prison that they can't even get into yet.
Crazy.
According to this, I don't know how old the video is. The reporting and post is recent though.
Okay.
And then just to also bookend.
We still got questions.
Well,
I mean, we kind of answered this one.
We already asked that. We did that one.
Okay, have we asked this one?
Oh, yeah. Basically, the SAA is fucking done.
Okay.
Everywhere except the Russian port of Tartus is surrendered. It's unclear if the Russians have cut a deal or not. They probably did.
Well, that answers this one too.
Possibly. They have no more interest in sustaining Assad or even trying to, right? Because Assad's a dick. But they probably tried to cut a deal with Hatash or HTS to stay or be able to use Tartus to sustain their forces in Africa.
Yeah.
That's a pretty interesting proposition. That is probably pretty attractive to them, because I don't know if they lose that port, how likely is Turkey to give a fuck about letting them through the Black Sea?
Not very much. They might just dick them over with bureaucracy or just
that would be funny. Just trap their Black Sea fleet. Just sitting ducks for Ukraine. That would be great. Fucking hell. Can imagine.
I honestly think Russia will abandon that port.
I kind of think that as well. I think it's
It
too much.
doesn't make any sense.
Too exposed. What support are they going to have? Anybody can kill those ships now.
Yeah, and even
also that's where their main S-300s and stuff were at. It was in these ports.
That's why it's sort of kind of complicated, right? Because the Russian government doesn't give a fuck about who they work with, right? They would work with ISIS.
They're still Lebanon.
Yeah, they fully intend. Actually, they probably agreed or Actually, if I had to hazard a guess, they probably agreed to keep supplying HTS with weapons, right?
Mhm.
Because, well, the Syrian military is a Soviet-Russian military, fundamentally. They need spare parts from either Ukraine, China, or Russia. China doesn't give a fuck about the Middle East. Ukraine is busy, and, well, that sort of just leaves the Russian defense industry. Actually, Israel might have tried to deliver a coup de grace by hitting a bunch of the Russian manufactured targets in Syria, but it's still fundamentally a Soviet legacy military or Soviet legacy kit. The only thing that would really alter that equation is if the U.S. magically dropped all of its reservations about HTS and said, "Hey, you want a mini-me American military like Turkey has and like Egypt has?" Which I won't rule that out of the realm of possibility. But
imagine if Russia's like, here, AK-12s.
And did you see what's happening in Georgia right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been following Georgia for a minute.
Dude, imagine like if Georgia like say, oh man, it's like Russia is getting their ass kicked, you know, it's like fuck Russia, and man, this week is like the worst week for Russia since like the start of the Ukrainian war, I think.
You're right.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a perfect
actually,
time for Georgia.
I've seen an analysis, and I'm curious to see what you guys think. What do you think? I've seen an analysis that says that Donald Trump, and he's like very friendly with the Vladimir Putin in Russia, right? But now that Russia is very weakened, he aspires to make Russia kneel. What do you think about it?
I don't actually think Trump's smart enough to realize that.
Yeah.
A lot of the right-wing American wingnut attitude towards Russia is like stuck in the Cold War. Even if I was going to say even if half of the Russian military is destroyed, like half of the Russian military hasn't already been destroyed, they'd still try to view Russia as this giant, not a goblin kind of creature, right? That you have to make deals with because they are very scary, which is not entirely false, but like, I mean, come on, it's Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're assuming that Trump will make up his mind. Wouldn't he be influenced by the war?
What's great is that we're going to keep doing this show.
Oh yeah, once a week.
See what happens week to week, and we'll see what happens as Trump comes in. So
yeah, but I agree with you. Like Trump on his own, he doesn't understand anything basically. But
yeah,
he's pretty
like
stupid.
His surroundings. I don't know, man. Like, did you see his pics?
Yeah. I don't think one, he's smart enough to do it either. I also think that his fetish for dictators and his laziness will make him want to keep Putin there. My theory is that he's so lazy, he wants to delegate American imperialism to other regional powers.
I agree. That's all Trump does is delegate shit.
Yeah.
He is the delegator in chief.
He wants to delegate Asia Pacific to China, right? He wants to delegate Ukraine to the EU. Yeah, Middle East to Turkey, and Europe to the EU, and Ukraine to the EU. He's just lazy. He's like, pay me lots of money or do it yourself.
I don't know.
Like people think he's a good businessman. He's not. He's just lazy. He's just lazy and got lucky because he had lots of money.
Yeah. I'm just waiting like to be surprised. Like I really think that it's too convenient, you know. It's like he hires Tulsi Gabbard as a like responsible for the intelligence, like holy shit, man, like holy fucking shit. Like if you told me this few months ago, I would say like, man, you're fucking insane, like get the fuck out of my sight, because that's like literally fantasy world that could never happen. And now it happens, and it's like, this is too good to be true. It's, for Russia, it's like, it's I don't think it's that easy. Or is it that easy? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
Actually, I might have. I'm not in the Trump sphere. During the first Trump administration, because I was a bored 20-something, I did a cheeky thing. I started reaching out and talking to a bunch of the notables in Trump. Right, like I'm Facebook friends with General Flynn. I chatted with Steve Bannon. He's kind of a fucking idiot. Not kind of. A bunch of, actually, just a bunch of people, to be perfectly honest. These aren't quite what you'd call strategic thinkers, right? They have a few of them among them, like John Bolton, for example. He's very smart. He's kind of a dick, but he's very smart. They're just not. They don't quite, as a whole, understand anything outside of their own narrow spheres. If that makes sense, right? They don't like understand anything outside of business. I don't want to say they're stupid, right? Because they're not quite stupid. I mean, I take that back. Donald Trump Jr. is dumb as shit, but his brothers are kind of smart. His brother is.
Dude, are you telling me that the strongest empire in human history, like,
yeah,
like they real, like they're going to, like the people like who are in power right now, it's like they're going to really let that happen. Like it's going to happen. Happening.
That's a whole another conversation for a whole another day. But the U.S. government is actually very defensive of its institutions, but outside of its institutions, it tends to let presidents do whatever the hell they want, right? So as long as he doesn't threaten, especially now, like as long as he doesn't threaten DOD, as long as Congress's budgets or salaries aren't threatened, as long as the Supreme Court is allowed to be left to its own devices, none of them are really going to give a shit about what Trump does, right?
In this octagon, I'm the boss.
Yeah, exactly. He could sign an executive order that said, I want Mexicans out, exact quotes. And DHS should be like, okay, yeah, sure. We will translate this into a bunch of federal laws, or not federal laws, federal, not even, like, yes, federal. I don't know the term for what DHS uses for policy making. They're going to be willing to indulge his dumb shit as long as it doesn't threaten their institutions personally. It is a fair way of putting it.
Okay, so you think the institutions are safe, right?
Yeah, the institutions are safe, especially the big ones, not the small ones, right? I'm sorry, but like
nothing can save them.
The Department of Housing and Human Development might be fucked. I'm sorry. There's not much anybody could do about that. But the big ones with a lot of institutional sway, they can essentially bully Congress into doing whatever they want, right? Yeah. As Exol is correct in pointing that in the Twitch comments. So the institutions are almost certainly fine. They're going to be annoyed for 4 years, but like there's not a lot of damage he can do. But to them, that is, there is a lot of damage Trump administration can do globally, especially if Trump does a bunch of impulsive things.
That's actually a relief.
Yeah, I agree. The institutionals, like I think Americans' institutions are really strong. If he had the big issue is things like the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
You know,
because they have
like
sycophants
my
on the
life
court.
might not change much tomorrow or anything like that. But
if
the
we
Supreme
had a
Court of Pixie
2X
already have eroded us.
Yeah, if all of us had 2X chromosomes, the story would be different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand all of that, but it's it's I don't know, man. It's this like the I understand it's like it's an exaggeration, like the emphasis on Project 25.
I'm worried. I'm not like just
But
like
it
I'll be
could
fine.
it could happen. Yeah, it could. Like it's very slow. You need time. Like if institutions are strong, you need time to destroy them.
Yeah.
You need like
actually,
at least like
Project 2025 is a kind of a funny one, right? Because the people who made it are dumb as shit, right? For example, they threatened to cut veterans' benefits, even though none of the people who wrote it really have any military service. So it never occurred to them that, oh, the veterans who we are trying to make homeless might get mad and want to shoot us. Like, okay, they aren't thinking very far ahead. I mean,
especially with the CEO, right?
yeah, exactly like that. Actually,
yeah, it's a new age. It's a new age.
I mean,
like all of these like people who like go to gay bars and like murder black people in rage, like these supremacists will one day realize, man, you know what? It's like I think these CEOs are the
hey, maybe capitalism is the problem, not the minorities.
Yeah,
I mean, this is
can
our
you
show.
fucking imagine? Like,
3
can you
days a
fucking
week,
imagine?
so.
Like, like that's like a turn in history. This is a turn in history. Like we're literally like, this is like the thing that's coming.
We're experiencing history, boys.
Unimaginable.
Strapped in.
It's a new age of intersectionality and interconnectedness, and
I mean, even the jihadis
everything.
are using DEI.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't want to like. I'm not quite an anarchist, even though I sound like one to other anarchists. Sorry, sorry, but you could be.
A soldier
I
in the
might
bunker.
sound like.
Me too. Yeah, I don't understand anarchism.
You could say that probably plausibly that Americans are waking up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they chose Donald Trump.
Yeah,
I'm more of an agnostic anarchist.
Like how are you an anarchist? Like serious question. Like you need institutions and like control and systems and shit.
You know, I just criticize the institutions that are wrong.
John's an idealist anarchist, right? He knows institutions are very useful, but he doesn't think they should be necessary.
Yeah, it's if that will be correct if we are a better species, you know.
Anyone who wants like more general autonomy. So like Armenia, you know, obviously Rojava, but like there's also like Brittany, you know, unification
Catalonia.
of Ireland.
What does Brittany have to do with it? What does she have to do with it? What did she do?
Well,
she's Brittany, bitch.
You know, so like that's basically what I support is just moving towards more autonomous systems, not so much like the idea of lawlessness or anything like that.
Isn't anarchism? Maybe I'm wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't anarchism like the highest form of Marxist theory?
No. But guess what? our last and release of LTech we just did is actually all about the intro to anarchist theory. So
perfect timing that we just released after fucking months.
Yeah, well, we've been doing streaming and like there were so many errors in it and stuff. Now we've gotten really off topic, and I just
we're doing questions. Question time.
yes. But again, I'm just
Yeah,
ending because if we're gonna
honestly,
get, go ahead.
Yeah, honestly, like I think, like Marx said, socialism, then communism, and then like after ages of communism, then like you have another human culture. I don't know. I could be.
Well,
sure. I mean, like Star Trek government will exist in the future too, but like people are dying now.
That's post scarcity. Post scarcity is a different thing.
I'm just like I'm not even anti-capitalist. I'm pro-regulation.
Watch The Expanse, Alan.
But by the way, I just totally random. I am a Marco Scenaro stan. I'm just Marco Scenaro
what do you
read.
mean?
I don't know how to frame this without sounding terrible.
Do it.
Is that the Noam Chomsky?
Oh, not quite Noam Chomsky, even though he was kind of comfortable with genocide in the show. Not quite genocide, but atrocity. I'll say.
Bro is classified as an anarchist. What the fuck? What? Where? Why? Because he was anti-American imperialism? I can show you pro-imperialist, anti-American imperialism. Like, it's not that hard.
He said it himself. No, he said it himself. He said, "I'm a synchro something. I don't know. It's like it's a form of anarchy."
Sure.
Yeah. No, I just
Hitler called himself a socialist.
When I say like anti-institution, it's not that I'm against institution. It's that I'm pro-criticizing power.
Are you talking about anarcho-syndicalism?
You know, like I really don't care what other people do. I just advocate, like if people need more autonomy and freedom, that's the people I care about.
Anarcho-syndicalism is one step from fascism.
Like this idealized government that people have of like, oh, if my Marxist theory was successful, this is how I would design the government. I'm not that guy, you know?
No.
I'm not a fucking civics major.
Not an engineering major.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Well, here's another hot take for you. Anarchism and communism is the same thing. The reason communism doesn't exist because it's never actually the goal. They never actually want to get rid of the government.
America was founded. They literally wrote about how it will be a fusion of anarchism. Like the whole point of America is like the idea of America is that it was one step towards anarchy, and like it was going to be the happy medium between complete freedom and liberation and the crown. Like that was the ideas they put forth.
Hey, don't be calling me Ancom. No.
Ancom.
Get fucked.
Okay, anyway. Enough about this. Let's finish up. If we're gonna get claimed, I don't know where this is from, but if we're gonna get claimed, might as well be at the end.
Cool.
اللي دخلت لعنده بالزنزانة مشان تسلي بس ما طلع عنده ولا مفردة من الحرية.
كنت بفرع التحقيق العسكري وكان فيه عنصر من الحراس اخواته 2 مساجين، فاجا مره سالني شو اسمك الحقيقي، قلت له اسمي الحقيقي، مع انه كان هذا ممنوع، كنا نضرب احيانا يستدرجونا نقول اسمنا الحقيقي، بيضربوك اذا قلت اسمك الحقيقي، بدك تقولي رقم الزنزانه دائما. اي لك.
They said that we weren't supposed to use our real names. Sometimes they trick us into saying it and then beat us because we said it.
Yeah.
قلت له علي الأمان، قال عليك الأمان، قلت له أنا فلان، قال أنت فلان، قلت له إيه، قال عم يقولون أنك جاسوس إسرائيلي ولا حدا يحكي معك، ولك أنت فلان، قلت له أنا فلان، قال أنت واللي بالطرف الثاني هونيك أكبر شجعان بالعالم، ما قدرنا ناخذ منكم شيء.
It's a little cut off on one of the subtitles there.
كنا أنا وياه بكوريدور هيك واحد. بعد كم يوم جاب لي مقص ضافير، قصة ضافيري قال لي اوعى تطلع صوت لانه اذا عرفوا انه نعطيكم قصدافير بروح 3 سنين على تدمر. بعدين صار بين فتره وفتره يزت لي تفاحه. بالاخر اجى مره شي الساعه 3 وثلث بالليل، طبعا ما كان في ساعه، ما معي ساعه، بس سالته شو الساعه. قال لي تعا معي بس تطلع صوت. تقريبا تسلل انا وياه. اخذني على محل بعيد شي 40 متر، فتح باب زنزانه وقال لي فوت احكي له قصه لهالولد. ما انت مثقف، فوت احكي له قصه لهالولد. قمت عيط بالزنزانه، شفت في سيده عمرها 26 27 سنه يمكن، متكوره على ذاتها هيك، وخافت لما شافتني فايت. طبعا لها حق تخاف لانه عندها تجربه مريره معه. هي حملت وجابت الولد بالزنزانه. وشفت طفل عمره شي 4 5 سنوات، طفل هيك اسمراني حليوه صغير، وجهه منفخ هيك، يمكن لانه بشوف الشمس. فسلمت عليها ما ردت، خايفه. فقلت لها يا بنتي، لانه فعلا مثل بنتي هي، شذا كانت بهذيك الايام بعمرها. انا مطلوب مني احكي قصه لابنك. شو بدي احكي له؟ قال يعني هيك تلعسمت كثير وخجلت وبعدين ما جاوبتني فعليا. فقعدت قلت له كان في عصفور. قال لي شو العصفور؟ انا يعني عم بحكي قصة للطفل، بذهني فكرة الطفل المجردة، يعني انه الطفل العصفور والفارة والشمس والنهر والمي والفراشة. وقت لحالي المفردات بدي احكي له اياها. فقال لي شو العصفور؟ كيف بدي اشرح له شو العصفور؟ بعدين قال لي، قلت له عم يطير على الشجرة. قال لي شو الشجرة؟ حسيت بالورطة، وحسيت بمعنى كلمة هذا الشاب اللي ما بدي اقول اسمه لانه يمكن لساته بالامن، انه مانك مثقف وتحكي له كلمه. عم يتحداني اني اقدر احكي له قصه. فالمهم ما اعرف شو بدي احكي له. قلت لحالي بدي اغني له غنيه هي مذكرتها بالقصه. فغنيت له غنيه هذه ريما الحندقه، وبعدين غنيت له غنيه ماما زمنها جايه وهيك شغلات. بعدين دقيت على الباب والدموع مليانه بعيوني، والام قاعده على جنب، قاعده على جنب وساتها متوشسه يعني. دقيت على الباب، بعد شوي اجا، قلت له طلعني الله يوفقك انا راح اختنق. قال ما حكيت له قصه. قلت له شو بدي احكي له؟ هذا عمره ما طالع من الزنزانه. ما هيك قال لي ابدا، لا بيعرف شو العصفور، لا بيعرف شو الطابه، لا بيعرف شو الشمس، ولا بيعرف شو الشجره، ولا بيعرف شو الهواء، ما بيعرف شيء. بعدين سالته عن الام، قال لي جابوها رهينه عن ابوها اللي هرب على عمان، ومثل ما انك شايف جابت الولد هون.
Was that Michel Kilo?
I believe so. Hang on, I just clicked off the tab. 1 second, let me pull it back up.
Oh my god, man! No. Actually, my family name is Kilo, so we have the same name as Michel Kilo. And that caused me a lot of problems in Syria. That was like
you know, I'll post
I was investigated many times by Syrian forces.
So, anyway, thanks for coming, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, Alan and
Send
James.
people in a raid.
Sure, we can do a raid.
Cool.
Good discussion.
And we'll do another one next week. Hopefully it will be nice and happy.
We'll see.
I like my suitcase.
Hopefully the week of events stops now, you know?
Hopefully.
Like, can you imagine another week of this shit?
How long do you reckon
Like next
people
week, Elon falls.
That'd be fucking incredible. That would be what a run up to Christmas. What an event calendar.
Okay.
Like imagine what could
I found
happen
someone
next
to
week.
rate.
Like holy shit.
It's like one of those things that you break the doors open and get chocolates out of, but each time it's a regime falling.
Yeah. But
How
what
long
next?
until you
man? Like,
reckon?
holy shit.
Yeah. How long until you reckon people forget that this soundbite is actually Baron?
I like my suitcase.
Never.
I give it a month. People forget it's Baron,